So sorry, 14.94. So again, 6 cents. Like, this is the other thing, 6 cents worth of it. We talked about where our stop was on SoFi. Now in the money, 26 cents. So there it is, man. Another 5 to 4 or 5 to 1 there on SoFi. We still have a decent position left. So yeah, pretty good. It's 11 o'clock right now. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks everybody for joining us. One quick update. It's not a big IPO, but there is one. IMC. It is now a buy-in balance of 1.5 million.
Ooh.
So that's actually not bad. Paired volume 1.8. It's still indicating a flat open. The issue was 5. It's telling you the auction price is 5.
Are you going to take it if you're here or no? Okay.
$5? I never heard of it. It didn't even make our research. So it's a hard no for me. I'm not touching that thing with a 10-foot pole. But for anyone that is interested, there is an IPO today. And there's a bigger one coming tomorrow. Jersey Mike's. By this time will not be open tomorrow.
We got to get some subs in here, man, for the Jersey.
It would make a lot of sense.
I think we're going to.
No, there's a Jersey Mike's.
We're going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, we just probably get like Uber Eats.
Who is hitting? What is there?
What is wrong with Jersey Mike's? Well, I'm looking around. Oh.
Who hit that?
I'm looking around. I'm not looking at anybody.
The fact that Neil immediately looked at me as if I did something.
I looked around.
At Joe.
I just looked around.
How dare you? That is crazy.
Who hit it?
I
thought me and Ram were cool.
Steady snitching, man. Snitching out here.
Ramin, you don't like Jersey Mike's?
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Like right away, Joe.
Okay.
Man, yeah, the flies.
I don't know if anybody can hear these guys.
Get that
we'll pass on this for now.
Unbelievable.
But we're going to throw it over to these guys so we can talk more about that Jersey Mike comment there from Ramin. That's
haters.
I don't know. Normally I put my mic away and I say hi to her.
That being said,
I don't know anymore.
A good point in the chat.
Definitely.
The person who dislikes the carbs that would be in a sub the most is Sharif.
Forget the carbs.
No, but Sharif probably hit because he doesn't like the carbs.
My life, I didn't even touch it. My hands were on my phone,
Why are you blaming Sharif over
Somebody,
here?
somebody had to hit that button.
Yeah, Ramin apparently did.
Of course it is. Look at her, bro. Just look at her.
So look, anyways, we're gonna find.
I know we have integrity.
I know it wasn't us.
So.
And I know the chat is down with Jersey Mike's tomorrow.
Like, watch how easy this is. This is me hitting fail. There we go. I hit it.
Like you'll see, yeah.
You know,
if I'm not even on the right page, but if I'm being hit.
Thank you, Ramin. Thank you for Ramin to come on and tell people what's good. So thank you to Ramin for that one. I knew she was a real one. Okay, Battle's making a move. That's Sharif's way of saying stop talking. It's the midday. Sharif, we got you, guy. We got you. Don't worry about it. It's the midday madness, and it's about to start now.
Peace.
Everybody's blaming you, Joey.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, well, Sia claims to know who hit it, but she's gonna hold off.
I did hit it.
You did hit it?
Yeah, that was me.
That was you,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah,
you realize everything is recorded.
Yeah, but yo,
right?
listen, man, I'm not
out yesterday when you looked for video evidence about Obi.
Yeah, you seen that?
Point,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Hey, man, you know how it goes, man.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Scott, Andrew, Omega, Alan, shout out to Kilo. Kilo of what, bro? Arcane, we got Rich. We got Super No, Anurag's in the house. Shout out to Jimmy J, Rhino Day, and Gavin Ross. We got Omega Zero and Smith. Yehua follower, love that. Alan, Ben Affleck. We got Gorev, Mike PD Ryder, Andrew Chow. Midwest Cannabis, 11th Hunting, he says. Joey is innocent, claims Remy J.
Man, I appreciate you.
There you go, bro.
Yeah,
Cryptonomics,
people,
Joey.
Man.
You gonna get into that cryptonomics, or are we icing crypto for a little bit? Mojo off wallet watch list. Dino, we got Drew, we got Luis, Don Baca, and Mark Mosqueda. Ginvesting, Miami Dragons in the house. Psyops, shout out to Christ Eternal God and Durant Gordon. Dino's in the house as well. Save, man, woman, don't miss crypto, he says. We got Casey, one of my faves in the chat. Casey 520 man. She's saying NCRA. Casey says we do, Joey, lest we fight, as she claimed. So let's have a look at what she was saying there. What was the ticker I just called out? This Casey was saying there something? I forgot it, man. I lost it. There it is. NCRA. Let's have a look at that one quick. Okay, breaking back above 3. I like this one. I'm going to look at Battle as well. This one has a double bottom case. We take out 3 1/4. Do you ever watch that movie Speed? with Sandra Bullock. So that was a lot of gas, no brakes. You remember why?
No, but I was gonna ask you, are you tapped in?
I am, maybe not logged in though. You know what? The production team. I have to blame the production team for this, man. Because Tiff, can you try again? Hey,
Tell her. That's what I'm talking about.
Now we're good.
Tell them.
All right,
guys. VinFast continues to expand beyond vehicle sales. This week, VinFast India partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access, while Green SM launched all-electric ride-hailing in Kazakhstan with VinFast VF6 vehicles. Together, these moves highlight VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. All right, Trick, you got stuff that you want to
let's get to work, Joey. I was just trying to look at what Lele was telling me. Lele, what is this CMMD thing? It's pulling up on my my screen. So Lele, tag me again. Let me know what's up. Casey. All right, I was looking at at MS13 over here, MSS. We're going to call this one lovingly MS13 on the day. I dislike it. It's below the VWAP, below $3. The only thing keeping it on my side chart here are these higher lows, lest this one get back above 3. There is, as you can see here, a lot of resistance at 3 1/3, 367 high. There's a triple top there. I guess, what keeps me, pseudo interested is the higher lows. And if we can kind of work back up, I'll play the range. This one seems like it is range bound with maybe 2.5, 2 1/3 the low, and then 3 2/3 at the high. We'll keep an eye out on that. MPLT, more expensive of a name, 15 and change. I mean, this is a multi-day runner, but don't forget what this one did on Monday. People don't forget when you drop from $37 all the way down into $9. Yeah, that'll hurt a few feelings there. A bit of a recovery day yesterday, more of a recovery today on lesser volume. 15.29 high, right at 15 right now, right above the 10 EMA. I'm interested in 14 1/4. That is the bull flag top end range as well as the volume weighted average price. OTLK, losing VWAP, about to lose the dollar and about to lose the spot on the side chart. ALVO up 13.5. Light volume. Look at sporadic the volume is. Sometimes you get a good volume bar, but most times you don't. Problem is, it's trading above 3.5 and towards the higher end of the range. I got to keep it on lest it find a bid. EXLS, more expensive, but it's a multi-day play. $35 on the dot. HOD. It's holding 34.75 quite well. This could be a flat top break through 35. It had a day yesterday. It's having another day today. It had a day Monday. It had a day Friday. This has been running for a few days. EXLS, the ticker. Continuing on, MUZ, if you're of the Z inclination. 1387 high. However, we are still below that aftermarket high yesterday when we got into about 18 and change. Best we've done on the day, 1787. I'm not liking this one until we can take out some sellers from yesterday's high. CORD, how many days in a row are we going to talk about CORD? CORD has been putting in higher lows and higher highs. Let me flip to the 15 over here because the 5 ain't doing it justice. It's been putting in higher lows, higher highs since the 23rd. This is a multi-day runner. It continues to look good almost on a daily basis. And today, no different, quite frankly. We've got a triple one high, quadruple one high, Joey. 11.11 is the high of the day, and it feels like this one has got a lot of resistance in and around 11 and change. Last but not least, BATL. I was telling Neil about this one before they ended the show. Neil brought it up in the morning. It looks like it's a stair-stepping up, holding prior area of resistance generally as support. It's broken this prolonged downtrend, but you know how I feel about these ones that break these prolonged downtrends. They're typically bull traps who lure you in only to lose prior bar low. I ain't in this to lose money, so not touching that one. And then I just want to mention quickly the one that KC526 called out. NCRA. I'm going to bring that one in from the side chart over here. I like this one, Case, because it's got a lot of volume. It's got a bit of a head and shoulders pattern possibly brewing here, or you could look at it as possibly some higher lows and a retake here of 3 1/4, 3 1/3 with, technically the day high is 363, but when you look at what it did in the pre-market, specifically at 8:40 a.m., it got to 452, Joey. So this one has had a big move in the pre. Let's see what we get on the day. I got to tell you, though, guys, I'm not in love with anything, and I'm going to have to use that phrase, Joey. What am I going to say? The pickings are slim.
The pickings are slim. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were gonna say there, but all right, guys. Yeah, let's get right into things and see what we had going on. Now, right out of the gate, we were looking for some longs, and sure enough, it worked for us here on NVDL. This initial one to start with, bang. As soon as we didn't break out of this 28.30 level, which is correlating. Let's see with the exact price of 96.50, we'll call it flat. As soon as it rejected, I'm like, all right, let's lock in the profits that we have. We grabbed a nice entry, and then sure enough, it just tanked after. So right out of the gate, we were winner, genyo. But then we try again over here, but it didn't work for us. So we take another scalp off of that one there. So not too bad, but no continuation. And then I posted up at the lower end of the range after this last candle, to be honest with you, but we never got that pullback to 26.76. So sure enough, that would have been the winner chicken dinner of the day. But what we do have here is our only blemish really on the session. And this was this long in SoFi. So I started really small with this initial position in order to catch a fill right here at the lower end. So $15 flat is what I was looking at. I know. You guys are gonna fight too.
Go ahead.
All right, that's what I'm talking about over here. So anyways, we'll now you threw me off my game, Shreve.
Come on, Joey.
All right, hold on. Give me a second.
Come on, Joey.
Hold on. Stop. Give me a second.
This guy, bro.
All right. So there it is, right? So we just stopped out, and then eventually it based out at $14.90. All right. So now that was the climb. That was the move. And congratulations to Katina Man for catching that bottom, being patient enough to get that move back in towards the volume weighted average price. Now I was posted up here on TQs. We took a little scalp to the short side, but I'm like, you know what? We're not going to get that immediate momentum style breakdown. And I took a little win on this one, but eventually that stronger leg did happen, which I wasn't willing to participate because for me, I honestly believe that the Nasdaq can bounce at any time. For some reason, I decided to go short. So there it is. We take a small scalp, slightly red just due to sizing. We were the largest position of the day, looking for that move back into 12.30 or 15.32 here on SoFi, but it didn't work out for us. So yeah, that's it, slight red, but it ain't a thing but a chicken wing for us to climb back. I mean, we've done it umpteen times throughout the week. Yesterday we closed slightly green, but we were on bad times. I mean, at the peak of our losses, but then we just managed to cut about 80% of them off, only putting the only blemish on the week. So it's still early, and I know we'll turn things around.
I love to hear that attitude, bro. That's the kind of thing,
You know how we rock.
Yeah. So we're good there, dude. What's that?
I said, you know how we rock.
Yeah. This is how we do. All right, Joey. We got a KC 526 special here going. Yeah, man. AGRZ. Yeah, sorry, I'm in a position, Joey. All right, 54, big seller at 54. Can't shake him here. Looking for a hold of prior bar on the one. There goes 56. We got 54s on. We're looking for 69. Ozan, let's go, my man. We need you to punch in. There it goes through 58 options, man. We're looking for 61s. Oh, no. That's not good. All right, there we go. Looking for there's 60, Joey. Limit up is 68, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We're looking for a little bit more now. Let's go 63s. And then we're gonna go 65, and then we're gonna go 69.
Okay.
All right. Looking for that resistance to break. We got a 65 penny high, 63 in focus here. No continuation quite yet. You're getting some selling here, as I expect, at around the 2/3 of a dollar. 62, 63. There it goes again, man. We got 53s on this one. We took a good position as we aggressively had. There's my man, Ozan. I'll get just 1 second, Ozan. Let me finish this trade here. Let's see if we can get up into 69, take the bulwark out, and then maybe we'll start thinking about 75. Now that, I've wet the beat quite a bit, I think I'm going to put my stop below 50. So we're going to risk 3 pennies. Initially, I was risking down to about 42. So let me go ahead and weasel some out here. I'm still holding the majority of the position as we did add quite nicely into this one. So here we go, coming back down. Let's go ahead and put 49 as my out. As we always do, we have to give it a little bit of room. 55 now showing up Let me flip to the 5-second chart on this monster so I can spot areas of support and resistance. 55 is VWAP, 65 penny high. There we go again, Mr. Options, through 60. But if we reject here, that would be a lower high, right? Because we've got that 63 penny area as the local area high. We got to get above 63 to maintain trend. And by trend, I'm talking about the higher lows we're continuing to put in, but we need that higher high, right? And that's what we're not getting at the moment. So can I keep a close eye on this one?
Is that okay? All right, yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man,
it,
I
that's
appreciate
it,
it. That was
brother.
a throw over there. All right, man. So other than that, guys, let's start game planning on what we're gonna do here in the overall market. So what we have is, I'm not gonna call this turtle shell or anything along those lines because I don't believe that's the narrative. So you can see the weakness. Let's keep an eye on our volume by time profile. All right. So what is happening on our rebounds? Now, we are stair-stepping higher. It's a positive sign, but it was the exact same example of what Ann and I were looking at yesterday for the short move, okay? So what we do have is volume is kicking in, but look at the strength within the selling candles opposed to what we're seeing in the green candles, okay? So that could just tell us where the dominance is laying, which I believe is really important. Now, am I going to try to find a bottom and look for the long? Absolutely, because I do believe that this market is a slight, I'm not going to say the market, some names are oversold, which can help the market find somewhat of a rally, okay? And we're going to get into those momentarily. Now, okay, maybe we don't like that number there, Tiffany. It was 666 on that one. We don't like that number, so we'll go a little bit lower. Maybe 67s right here. Okay, all right, it's getting even worse as time goes on. But no, in all seriousness, 59.20 is where we could potentially post up on the Qs, but also leave yourself some risks. Sorry to jump all over the place, for after 2 p.m. So 2 p.m., regardless of what happens, 2:30, allow the volatility. 2:45 is where you really start to hone in and look for those high-quality opportunities. So you could just mess around a little bit, see if you can find something, but really reduce your share size and your risk so you can find some opportunities if that is what you're waiting for. But what I will do right now is post up at 59.20s, and if we break 59.79 on the triple Qs, then maybe our thesis is going to be invalid. But why am I going to post up at 59? Well, okay, well, I'll go 30. So I'll lift it up 10 cents. Why? Because I'm at the lower end of the range. And the objective of this is to just really determine where we're going to go wrong. Now, if it cracks through this support level, then hey, we might see an additional leg lower in the Nasdaq. So let's do that right now. We're going to post up at 59.20s just in case there is a bounce back towards the volume weighted average price, and we'll have the ability to take advantage of that. All right, so 59.20s or 30s is where we're going to post up at. We'll start relatively cool just in case it doesn't work out, but we know orders placed, we know where we're going to be wrong, and that's going to be around 59.10. So that's our out there. Now, moving forward to some names that have been battered and bruised. Where am I going to start off with? Oh, yeah, you guessed it, the memory names. Wow, yeah, woo, so exciting. So here it is, right? I mean, no, in all seriousness, and it irks me, right? Like, so here's we'll do what grinds my gear segment extremely early here today, is that we get all excited about these runs, and I understand it, right? Like, people make a lot of money all the way up here. But if you don't sell on the way up, well, then guess what? Congratulations. You've just lost the majority of your gains because you're down 56% off of the highs in SanDisk. Now, when there's blood in the streets, is this a good opportunity for us to slowly start grabbing some? I truly believe so. We know there's going to be a bottleneck here for the next year and a half, 2 years. So this might be oversold in some aspects. I know we get exuberant in one way and we get carried away, but it happens in the opposite direction as well. But that doesn't mean that the run is over, okay? So just be cautious with this. Don't bag hold, and if you happen to get a strong move back to where the previous high is, then by all means, look to lock in some more gains and leave a little bit for a runner. But one thing that you have to take into consideration, and why it's really difficult when stocks go down 50%, well, now you need 100% return just to get back where you left off. All right, so going from $1,000 all the way up, so we'll call it $1,100 here, all the way up to $2,200 isn't easy, and it may take a little bit more time than what this initial move took, right? This was fast and furious. Tokyo drift over there, Shreve, for sure.
Have you drifted before?
Yeah, in the snow, man. That's like
You can drift, eh?
I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but like, catch me in a parking lot with Ram, and she's drifting.
Can we get that video again? Can we get that video
Why are you
again?
yelling like that, Ram? Like,
Can we get that video of you doing donuts in that ginormous Brogdingnagian car that you had?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I had to use that. Right, we're gonna hit the word of the day. I don't think that's ever been used on the show.
That was Joey Drift Kings. No, but there it is, right? So we catch this fill at 30s. Now let's see if it holds up. Now, I mean, we've already gave back the majority of our risk as the market is really looking to take an additional leg lower. So this trade could just be, we can come to an end really quick on this one here, right? So this is complete sellers are in control. And it makes it a little bit more difficult, but that's why we post up at lower ends of the range just in case there is any form of a rebound right there. Let's see if we can get this trade to work for us. You can see that this lower high was established. Let's send things off to Sharif.
All right, guys, I just got to remind everybody that Trader TV Live members get Sharif's Mind daily morning research note every single trading day that I'm here. We are talking, of course, about the big market stories, but more importantly, we're talking about the key technical levels, the trade plan, the catalysts, and what we're actually looking for and watching into the open. It is only $4.99 a month. We're talking about 20 pennies a day. And if you also get members only videos, you get posts, custom emojis, and loyalty badges. Super simple to join. Hit the join button below this video to become a member now. Thank you for everybody who has signed up. All right, let's get to the super chats if we can. Tiff, NCRA, my man Adam. Boom.
What's up, boom?
Tap, please. You ask, you get. And I think you're going to like what you hear. $3.90 is the theoretical auction price. Halt price, $3.71. Halt time, 11:17:43. Current time, 11:21:31. The earliest open will be 11:22:43. NCRA, shout out to Case. Shout out to Adam. Y'all are calling this one out. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you very much for calling that out. Minneapolis Sam, he's dropping two nice ones in the chat, man. Thanks for all of the knowledge and laughs. Great show. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah.
And Casey, 526, as she typically does, just magnanimous. Always giving with two hands. Casey, 526, dropping 5 Trader TV memberships. Rob Demchak.
Okay.
Eduardo, my man, you got one. Formerly Mr. Gray. I love that. Mr. Left. Oh, my days. Oh, my days.
What did he say?
Well, you're going to have to look at his name. I can't finish that. Mr. Left, 19H, something, A-Rise, and Dizzy Spider.
It's my left.
Oh, that, yeah.
My left.
Yeah. My left, and then read it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're waiting for resumption on here, and while we wait for that, we're going to send you up to see him.
AMZN to the downside here a little bit of a volume spike coming in that Amazon will be offering now Starz and Crunchyroll bundle on Prime Video starting the 29th of July. AMZN will be offering Starz and Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is apparently an anime and dub streaming platform, and Starz is more of a storytelling kind of a platform. So that bundle on Prime Video as of the 29th of July.
All right, yeah, perfect stuff. Yeah, atta girl, KC, 2R on that, so nice return. I love it when you hit those 2R trades for sure. I'll tell you, that's my bread and butter, to be honest with you, like 1.5, 2R. Nothing crazy outside of that. Anyways, NVIDIA, MU, Snake Systems. Yeah, listen, I'm forever. Listen, okay, we'll get into that right now. I'll tell you guys my game plan because Hangry Wife been asking me about it for quite some time, so I may as well just tell the world now, even though it's not like it matters whatsoever. So shout out to Michael Burry. Listen, this void is going to be filled. Okay, I could totally be wrong. I don't believe that I am, but I think at some point this is going. You're going to see this at. Maybe not all the way towards the lows, but 180, I totally believe is in the works. There's a really strong structure right here, right? Extremely strong structure. It's held before. I just don't know if this is going to be the scenario in which we hold again. So 185, 180, even 75s, I think could be totally in the works here for NVIDIA. All right, and guess what? I'm a consistent buyer. I'm forever going to be building an insane position in this for as long as I can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Lower the price, the less move of a move that I need. But the total objective is for this to eventually head over to $300 because I think at some point in the next couple of years, again, you see how broad my horizon is. is obtainable. All right, so 180 will be loading up a bit. I'm not going to be buying any right here because I do believe this support system at 190 is going to be breached, regardless if you have some form of a bounce, right? You can get a bounce back up into 202 or something along those lines. That's fine and pretty and dandy. But again, this was a bull trap. You can see that we had a little bit lower on this one. And yeah, I think this is going to be the narrative. A couple of days ago, we were talking about this Go TQs. Guys, you can see that's why we posted up at 30s there. We're now printing a little bit higher with a slight rebound in the market. We'll get into that momentarily because it's not quite what I'm looking for. We're going to wait for 59.60s here, see if we're fortunate enough to catch that one, but we're going to need a rebound. We were talking about this a couple of days ago, that the selling has just started here in AMD. You go on this big time run, you're only down about 25% off of those highs. I think there's going to be some more of a pullback, and don't forget, we have this gap that needs to be filled between 360 and 406, which I believe is totally obtainable and reasonable as well, because you go from $200 all the way up to 600 pretty much, almost a 200% return right there. The market will give back some, shake out a bunch of unfortunate people, which again, that really irks me because I know it's hard. It's people's hard-earned money, and I don't like seeing those types of things, but that's the nature of this wicked beast. It can give you a lot, but it can take some as well, too. So same thing with like Western Digital, actually relatively strong here compared to some of its peers, but we went over SanDisk, Micron. I think this is going to be a good opportunity to get involved in some 38% to the downside. Allow the selling to cool off. There we go, Sharif.
Yes,
as
sir.
the Nasdaq, okay.
What happened, Joey?
No, that's all right. I didn't mess anything up. Yeah, as the Nasdaq popped into almost 60s, come on, let's see if we can continue this momentum to the top side. We don't want to take too much off too early, but you can see, and Ann and I were discussing this yesterday, with every single pop, you can see it met by some aggressive defense. And there goes the market just absolutely tanking pretty aggressively. I mean, absolutely tanking is a little bit of a stretch, but you can see how it took all of this time, 5 minutes, for us to climb higher, and then it's just met by immediate defense within the span of about 20 to 30 seconds, right? So you take the stairs up, and then everything gets hucked out the window.
Yeah, man. There she goes. Yeah, you know that song, Joey? There she goes.
There she goes again.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah, well, there goes the market to the downside again. Is it? Yeah, I mean, Jason, it is, man. It's not fun, especially for long-term accounts for day trading. Like, you obviously want to try to not do what I'm doing and stick to just where the price action is, but it makes things significantly more. Yeah, okay, that's crazy. Yeah.
I love the chat,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know what? Don't take yourself too seriously, man. We're having a good time here. Come on now. All right, Case, we're in ARGZ because it weaseled back up. I'm going to stick to my story this time, and I'm going to actually stop out below 42 because it keeps getting support at the same level, 42 pennies. I don't want to base anything here on VWAP because it looks like it's more respecting that 42.5 penny level, which is now the 10 EMA on the 5. So we're going to give this one the old community college try. NCRA lost trend, and I'm out. So we'll let that one go, but I'm going to keep a close eye now on AGRZ. Let's see if this one can kind of hold up, maybe mosey on back to 75. There we go, coming back into 54 again. Let's see if we can take out, that prior area high. There's a lot of resistance at 60. So if we can get up to 60, that would be good news. But, expect some selling there because it's shown up before. Nimit, my man, good to see you here again. Love it. We're seeing Nimit more often these days after a little bit of a hiatus, Nimit. We didn't see you as often. GMM was such a tease yesterday in post and pre today, and now gone. Dang. Fed day and bad luck to me. No, man. We're just getting warmed up here, Nimit. Everything is good. Let's have a look at GMM for the OG Nimit. All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, went right up, right at the open into 430 and then kind of lost trend. It was good yesterday in the aftermarket. That's what I see what you're saying there. Right at around 5 o'clock. It looks like the breakout came about 5 to 5. And when all was said and done, I think at the high, we got to about 365, but we did a lot better today. We got into about 430. That was right at the implied balance open. So I hope you print up storms on that, Nimit. Let me know what your thinking is on that. What's the plan going into that? But right now, it's going to focus on AGRZ because it's taking out my levels. And here comes 57, 56 is showing up. We got a couple of prints here, but I'm aiming for 60. If this is going to be a 57, whatever, 58 rejection, it will be yet another lower high. So it's 65 penny high, 61, generally 61 penny high, and now we're about 57 and change. So it's lower high, lower high, lower high. Got to be careful with this one. Okay. Also looking at CORD, C-O-R-D, into the high of the day. I'm not involved in that one at the moment, but I just want this trade to resolve so I can kind of focus on what I need to focus on. But the problem with this one is I'm going to have to give it to 42.5. I won't get out until 42.5, and I want to be strategic about where I add along the way. Looks like there's a lot of selling here in the mid-40s. Let's take this opportunity to add. I also want to add into 45. So let's go ahead here with an order right at 45 to take that. So there we go. We'll throw that on there. Probably should move it up just a little bit here so that if it does come into 45 and there is a buyer, it does pop up. Oh, we got some love there, man, from NOK's Norwegian kroners, right? NOK. Yeah. There we go. Bojo 9,000. There she goes, right down into the drain. My money, that is. Oh. Joe need that UW to lift me up. Well, I'm having a good time, man.
I got you covered, man.
He's talking to you, Joey. He needs you. He needs you.
Yeah, he needs this.
He needs you.
This means I don't even really know what it means, but I just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. What does it mean if anybody knows?
Joe. I don't know, Joe. I don't know.
It is pretty cool, though.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
I'd be more involved in this conversation
you like this
if
one?
I wasn't in the trade. I just have to.
Oh, you're concentrating. All right, Sharif's concentrating. So I'll send this to Sharif. How's that one there? Oh, yeah, the double one. You know who actually, it's not maybe not so. Brian Ortega taught me that one, actually. If y'all know. If you know, you know.
You hear, see what Bud said to Ryan?
No.
He's like, Ryan, I hope you're taking this fight seriously, and that you're training because you could get knocked out. The champ, T-Bud, chiming in here. So you know what? Yeah, when T-Bud says, I listen.
Yeah,
that's
but Connor's about that.
Connor's about that life, but I think he's undersized. I think Ryan's a bigger man.
Yeah, that's fine, man. It's not. Sometimes it does matter, but sometimes
right?
Yeah, but it's about the size of the fight in the dog, man.
But we know Ryan ain't no pushover either.
Right? He ain't no pushover.
He has a tendency to
listen. Eubank is bigger than Connor.
He's not as fast though.
No,
he's not as fast as Ryan.
No,
but yes,
he's not
you're absolutely right. He's a way bigger man. Good point.
But see, the thing is, Ryan is like, he goes on these little runs and then he ends up partying
That's what I don't like.
Yeah,
that's what I don't like.
Partying for a while,
and I think that's what Bud is saying that for. I think Bud seen something or heard something within the community that says that Ryan is not taking this fight seriously. Well, otherwise, why would Bud say that? Like, you know, what motivation does he have? There goes ARGZ TIFF into 57, 58. Case, what are we doing with this one, Case? Let's go. We added aggressively here into the high. Assassino, I'm printing, bro. Here we go. So we're looking for 60. Now we're looking for 61. There's 60 options, man. Okay. And this is the level we may have a problem with. We've seen the rejections here before. It's a 65 penny high. Trade this carefully until it really takes out 60. We're going to pause. We're sending it, of course, to the big desk with Adara and Juan. Talk about the European markets.
The U.S. markets are open for another 4.5 hours, but the European markets are closed for the session. Here to take us through what happened in Euro for the session that just ended is Juan.
Thank you, Adara. A highly fragmented and volatile session in Europe. A lot of massive, one single massive stock collapse in the luxury sector, pretty much overshadowing a powerful morning of commodities rally. So we see the stocks Euro 600 down by 0.32%. You know, I mentioned early commodity and banking gains completely being evaporated as a luxury sector sell-off took hold. Now we go to France, CAC 40 down by 0.7%. That big luxury stock was Hermes. Those shares fell by about 11.6%, triggering a temporary trading halt as well. You know, despite a 7% Q2 revenue increase to about 4 billion euros, investors are still worried about stagnation in the Chinese as well as Middle Eastern markets. So that definitely took a toll on the CAC 40. But over in Germany, they did pretty okay. I mean, just above the tape. finishing pretty much 0.07 above yesterday. So those were supported by some good domestic earnings. We saw Rheinmetall surging about nearly 7% on sharp revenue as well as operating profit gains driven by a strong defense demand. We also saw the banking sector doing pretty well in Germany. Deutsche Bank advanced by about 3% after posting record second quarter profits. If we head over to the United Kingdom, in the UK, Standard Chartered gained nearly about 3% on better than expected quarterly earnings as well. So those banking gains bringing the UK stock up. Reckitt, consumer goods focusing on health, nutrition, and hygiene. They surged about 7%, one of the big earners there, as quarterly sales also beat forecasts. But the main story also here is BP and Shell. They added over 1% as Brent crude rebounded on renewed geopolitical tensions. So those airstrikes by the US and Saudi on Iran-backed groups in Iraq, escalating that of geopolitical tensions. This escalation very much driving Brent crude back to $90 per barrel, and that's boosting also mining and upstream energy. But also, we need to take into concern the semiconductor capex glut right now in Europe. All right, we heard SK Hynix, the earnings missed market consensus overnight. So these markets also still concerned about AI spending, that it's slowing down. This also triggered a 0.4% slide in European tech index, but you should watch out for names like ASML and Infineon at the open tomorrow for Europe, because we've got those Microsoft and Meta earnings coming up later. So if AI or cloud capital expenditure, those numbers could signal whether that tech hardware in Europe could continue to slide down or maybe bounce back, depending on those numbers. And that earworm from Sharif, come on, man. Here she goes. Here she goes again.
Here we go again with the Euro market segment. We'll see you again at 3:30 with one for the Asia market segment. Again, about an hour after, we'll hear from Fed Chair Warsh. There's a lot to look forward to this afternoon and going forward. We'll send it back to the guys.
That's my kind of guy right there.
At least one of us.
Guy who doesn't take himself all that seriously.
At least one of us.
He's gonna have a good time about it. There you go. Shout out to my man Juan. I think he's got the same skills I do in singing, which is,
No, he's same skills,
he's
bro.
probably a little bit better.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's much better. Hey, boy, I mean, it is what
Love you
it is,
too, Joey,
man.
bro. I appreciate you keeping my confidence up.
It's crazy.
There goes AGRZ. Oh, no, it's coming back down, Joey. It keeps encountering that level at 60, and it keeps finding resistance there. We're nicely in the money on this one, but Case, we're gonna need you to punch in here. Ozan, Mike PD Ryder, Grunfeld. Let's all remember they taught us this in the certification process. No team trading.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
team
yeah,
trading.
yeah. You
they
can't
try to
team
say
trade.
it's localized, but you got to get 21st century. Team trading could be, of course, right, over the internet, right, where you've got to.
Oh yeah. I mean, no team trading. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Illegal.
It's very much illegal. They'll rinse you and take everything, but other than that, if you and somebody else decide to do something, but no, that's a big no.
They can do it, but you can't do
exactly.
it.
So that's what it is. That's
Don't
how
think
it
that
is.
you're like you're them. No, they're them.
They are them. You are not. You're not that guy. You're just not that guy. All right, so here it is. As I often say, there's a little criminal activity going on.
Oh.
I mean, listen, you're going to bounce into 59.21 and not fill my order at 20s and then bounce up 20 cents just like that. That's the move that we're looking for, is that 20-cent bounce, and then you just get out of the trade, and it just goes tank city after that. So an aggressive fill and no rebound. Let's see if this works out for us here, guys. As the market does look like this is going to be the last attempt, because we have to take into factor that we want to save some risk for obviously post-meeting, right? So we're going to wait for some high-quality opportunities there. And this is very, very tight. I have to keep those. Yeah, see, the market's going to take an additional leg lower. Wow, how come it didn't fill me on those two orders over here and then decides to go on a nice little pop-up there? Now we'll be patient to see if buyers do want to step back in, but if not, man, we're going to have to sit on our hands, and I apologize for the lack of activity that is about to happen after I take this trade. What I'm going to do is just in order so I don't continuously trade is I'll hop out of my live, and if we want to punch some keys, we'll just punch it in some simulation, all right? So that's going to be the narrative if this trade doesn't work. I don't have much room I can give this as there's no one looking to step back in here at this very given second. If you look on the 5-minute time frame, oh, okay, yeah, that's it. See you later. So yeah, we have to get out of that one as the market takes an additional leg lower. I'll do it right now just so you guys can see live trading. We're getting out of that one here. Boom, see you later. And then we're going to wait for another opportunity here momentarily. We got to sign back in now, Assassino. I have to do that on a different screen so you guys don't see. There we go. That's a much better. There it is. Boom. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, sorry about that. We do some TA, but yeah, this market is not working for the longs, especially if you're working with pennies too. So you have to be really, 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 really careful. Extremely careful. And there we go. All right. So yeah, we'll allow this to load, guys. We just got out of that one. Whatever happens in the market happens. So no sustained bounce. And you can see that this downtrend is still fully intact, which makes it a lot more difficult. And especially when support levels are starting to be breached, just don't do what I was doing looking for those longs. You either don't trade. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you put it on the screen or not, Assassino. I'm not going to be trading anymore. Yeah, it's all good. No, I'm saving some risk for post FOMC because I hit a threshold. And I'm like, all right. So I just hopped out of my live just in case, so I don't press. I'm not shut down. I'll tell you guys if I was shut down. We're pretty dang close, but we're not. So I have my chip in a chair, and that's all we need in order for us to kind of. Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating. I could run through a brick wall right now, but we keep our cool. And I just tweaked my neck, Sharif.
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, it's all good.
You got to remember that it's hurting.
Yeah,
I always suffer from that problem as well.
Yeah.
When you hurt it, and then you forget that you hurt it, and then all of a sudden.
So anyways, aside from that, let's head over to our watch list actually,
Joe,
and see what we got going on. The imbalance locator on our list here. Tesla not doing too much. How are we doing on a daily? Did we crack $300 yet? On Tesla, 302. Oh no, we're holding on for dear life at this moment. It's just unfortunate what's happened here within this name specifically. Like, it's funny that Dan Ives was stating of Yorkville Ives, we can call him. It's just stating like investors are getting tired and impatient. But I think if anything now, you're closer than you ever been to what Elon's, I guess, bigger picture in his optimal goal is, right? I stood in the camp of I don't think Gen 1 robotics are going to be that thing, but it's Cybercab who's going to eat so many people's lunch. And that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I hope I'm not, but I mean, I think at some point Tesla's going to really, really gain some ground. Shout out to Kathy Wood for having that $4,000 price target. We're a bit of ways away from that. So, I mean, it's quite a... It's really far, actually. You know what I mean? We're not even relatively close. We'll send it over to see it in 1 second. There's one more name that I want to talk about. I mean, if we're going to lose confidence in anybody, maybe it's Meta, but I don't think that's the case. I talked about the headwinds in front of this name, and I believe once that's cleared up, then we can definitely see some new levels in this name specifically. Sia, what do you have?
Yeah, just keep an eye out on race. It's technically a bit flat on the day, but Ferrari apparently has hit its annual sales target for its first ever electric vehicle on the back of strong demand from China. The Financial Times has reported this as of today. This is also citing some people that are familiar with the matter. Now, the car maker now, Ferrari here, that is RAC, he had aimed to sell just under 500 units of the loose model as of this year, and quota was filled in less than 2 months since the car had been launched on May 25th. Just keep an eye out. It's still going on the up and up here.
The best day of the year.
What's that?
May 25th.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's my birthday. Lie. What are you looking at, Joey?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some. I'm not looking at much, to be honest with you. Let's see what we got going on here. We'll head over to see how some of the banks performing, where the strength is actually falling into this market. We got Walmart not really up anything right now. I mean, 1/5%. Kava here not doing too bad. Costco up 1%. How far are we off of the all-time highs on this one? 10%, not too bad, but it's the banks that you want to keep an eye out on. Where is the strength really falling into? And with that being said, we can obviously take a look at some of the top performing sectors and then fall into those ETFs to see how the performance is going to be. Because right now, if the staples aren't strong, the banks aren't relatively strong. Where are we rotating into? All right, so it's just... Go Ford, go, says Randy.
Randy's pumped about Ford. As well as he should be,
I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah, as well as he should be, Joey.
5% haul despite the recall.
He can be.
Yeah, 5% haul despite the recall, he says.
Okay.
Right? I like how that rhymes, too. Bro.
There we go, bang. So here it is, guys. Healthcare sector, XLV, the top performer today. Consumer defensive, we're up 2%. So maybe Procter and Gamble will take a look. Comms, 1.8%. Materials, consumer cyclical, finance. The financials up 1.25. Where's this coming from? I don't know. Real estate holding on to, and oh yeah, you guessed it, the tech sector. The name that goes parabolic, the worst performer. I mean, that's what happens, right? What goes up, unfortunately, does come down in these stock markets. Don't chase. Don't be afraid to sit on your hands for a little bit before you start buying up some of these names. Now, $5 super chat. Remember, guys, always sale before earnings. Always goes down on good news. Made 100K doing it that way. SoFi sold, bought back after earnings.
Love to hear
All right, man. Congratulations. 100 smackers there, my friend. Congratulations to you. And you know what I always say,
What'd you
Sharif?
say?
What I always say is don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good idea to spend it all.
No.
Unless, you're buying NVIDIA shares or something.
Yeah, that's the best place you can definitely.
Okay. And the reason I'm harping on him for that is anytime I tell him anything, right? I'm like, Joey, let's go here. Joey, let's buy this. He's like, yo, man, that's 1/3 of an NVIDIA share. That's 2 NVIDIA shares. It's like everything is in the context of NVIDIA share.
That's what I.
Which I do like. I like the obsession. But, I like
it's the only way.
Diversify the game a little bit, Joey. We're going to stop out here at ARGZ, Joe. If it loses 42, because 42 has been the support level, we worked into 48. It doesn't bounce off 42. I'm gonzino. Are we going to be negative on this? No. Even if I stop out here, given my position size, I'm not going to be negative. I'll stay positive. Hopefully, he bounces off 42, but right now, I'm not liking the look of this one's jib. What I do like, though, is this one. I want to work in possibly to MTNB. This is on the Amex. It's only up about 30%. It's not up much, but it's got a good pattern here, despite the topping tail candle into 44 pennies. I do apologize. All these ones are sub $1, which may turn some people off, but I got to tell you, the pickings are slim in terms of the volatility movers today. There are some other small cap gappers. Yeah, this is going to stop me out, it looks like here. AGRZ. There are some other small cap gappers that are, a little bit more calm in price action, but they're not doing as much at the moment. So we're going to continue to focus on the ones that are moving the most, talking about ARGZ and MTNB. Just keeping an eye on this one. Just want to see if I get stopped out. These are the ones I'm talking about. EXLS, look at this, up and to the right. CORD, up and to the right. MUZ, or Z, up and to the right into 1796. So these three here, BATL's doing bupkis. And then this is the one that I was just talking about, MTNB. We didn't put in the ticker quite yet. So as always, though, if there are any small cap gappers that are kind of making a move at the moment, I'd love to know about them because, there's just not much of a selection today. Nocera? What does Nocera mean? Look at, what's the ticker, brother? I don't know the ticker. So just let me know what the ticker is, and then I'll jump into that. I'll look at it. But yeah, MTNB, I'm not going to trade this one here. It looks like it's failing pretty aggressively from 44 pennies into 34. It doesn't really have any support here, except maybe, generally at 33, it was a bit of a top there, but I don't want to bottom pick. I'm already out of the money on AGRZ. I got stopped out of that one as it did fail. NCRA says, how do I say your name? Carso Wow. So let's look at that, NCRA. A little consolidative. I mean, I've seen a lot of these ones today that are like that. Yeah, NCRA, we traded this one earlier on the breakout there, but then it ended up failing. So I do like the higher lows, but We're below VWAP, and we're definitely below that $3.98, $4 area. I had it on the side chart, didn't I? NCRA, where'd it go? Did I take it off? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I just removed it. It's on the watch list, but I removed it from the side chart. I needed room. So yeah, sadly, nothing doing for me at the moment. They acquired a 5% stake in a Taiwanese memory company. That's always a good look, man, especially with the memory companies being very much in vogue at the moment, or at least were. You're seeing some weakness, of course, again today in the memory names, but we were up so much, so that's fine. Wow, Bloom Energy is negative again on the day. It's down again at the day's low. Wow, so it just gave up the entire move, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, from the entire
from the earnings report.
Oh, from the earnings report.
Longer term. No, we're long with this double digits, bro.
It's I completely listen, Snake Systems. I completely agree with you. I don't think it's necessarily about the generation right now. It's about all the kids growing up, going through school, who are using all of these tools. And you have to take, the way that I specifically look at it is infrastructure change, right? Like we're building all of these data centers and you need all this compute power, which I do believe is justifiable, because if you look at any major industrial revolution, at some point you have to spend money. You're not gonna make money by not spending any. That's just the reality. Now, if the AI trade doesn't turn out necessarily how we're expecting, which I don't believe it will, years down the road, because it's much more common what I'm getting at amongst the younger generations. So with that being said, I think at some point it will pan out and pay out. It may take a little bit longer than what we're expecting, but I don't believe that's going to be the case. I have the utmost confidence within this specific, because these guys are the most valuable companies for a specific reason, and it's really putting them in a position to hold on to that and maintain that for the foreseeable future. So I'm completely behind all of it. And I mean, that's why I love this company, because even though the wave right now is like, hey, there's some fears within it, bigger picture, I think it's all noise in my opinion. And these guys right here are going to be the providers of all those, the start of everything. The infrastructure is starting with N, ends with A. So yeah, that's where I stand, and I will. All of this is cool because I don't mind. I'll just buy some more, whether it takes a couple of years to hit the specific target that I want. Then the longer it takes, well, then guess what? The more I get to have, and that's.
I like that attitude, man. That's conviction central right there. Conviction 101. Like it's gonna go against you in the short term.
Oh yeah.
But like, are you living for a short term? You know what I mean?
No,
like,
man,
this
got
a lot more life left, bro.
I just hope that it doesn't take 5 years. If it takes 5 years, then I'll have more than I can ever imagine. But at that point, I don't want to. I would like to, get some balls rolling relatively soon. I mean, it's the same narrative, right? Like what I'm building this thesis based off of is my marijuana play, and then also my Moderna play. And those took a long time. Like it's funny because the span between being 24 all the way to 27 doesn't seem like much, opposed to 3 years now. Because back then it's a larger percentage of your life. Now it isn't as much. So
well said.
Yeah, I mean, here it is. I'm ready to rock and roll, and I will continuously be buying this name. And listen, if we're gonna talk about the technicals, never mind what I got going on. This void, again, I mentioned it earlier today. This void is gonna be filled. That's just where I say. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. And the same thing with, and if I am, then all right, I just didn't get as much as I would like. Look at AMD Go today, Sharif. Man, I was telling you, dude, this thing's going to sell a little bit more. Did you dabble into it?
There's like an attack in Egypt right now.
Oh, is
Egyptian gas storage tankers. Are you kidding me? If I don't know if this is accurate, but if they expand the war to Egypt, what a bunch of idiots. Egyptian gas storage tankers in Damietta port may have been attacked by drones, according to 2 security sources. U.S. owned and operated? No, that's not it. Okay, that's different. U.S. owned LNG floating storage facilities. Oh, that's the Marshall Islands. With Marshall Islands flag was hit by at least 1 drone. Yeah, okay, they're trying to hit American infrastructure in Egypt. This is what the report is saying, essentially. Okay. Unreal, bro. They just keep expanding the war, man. That's just not the right move, bro. It's U.S. owned. Yeah, I read that. I read that. Yeah, I get it, right? But nobody like should accept their, just like Iran just hitting them because the U.S. has stuff there. Like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? Like, again, it comes back to that crazy proposition. Anybody can get it at any time, right? So I think that's super stupid anyway. Continuing to watch here, MTNB. Let's see if this one can pop up into 36. It's got a lot of support, as I mentioned, at 33. It was a bit of a flat top break there. That's what I'm defending into. I've got my stop already placed in. I'm looking for a move possibly into VWAP at around 37 and change. So let's see what we get on that. I've only got one profit taker so far. I'm waiting at every penny, 36, 37, 38. So let's see if we get a price spike up. Nothing for me to do right now, though. So continuing to watch that. What else we got? We got these others, man, that continue to make moves, man. EXLS, look at this. This is a buy program. Your dollar's in the money here. If you took this right at the start of the show, my days, 35.60 high, barely a red candle showing up here. Same thing with Cord. Cord is just a multi-day runner. 11.59, trading at the high right now. But, for whatever reason, I'm looking at MTNB. And then you got MUZ, whatever. Here it comes close to that aftermarket high yesterday. That aftermarket high take us 8.15. Here's 8.12. So now you're really making a move to take out yesterday's high. So MUZ, and that's the aftermarket high, by the way, with no volatility parameters. So you're looking real good over here. Yeah, that's what I see. Chris Arthur as well. There's a little bit of beef between Egypt and Ethiopia. That's because they're building a dam and it's taking from the Nile water. Other than that, I don't think Egypt has beef with anybody at the moment. Drew Farrell says Sky Q. Let's have a look. Oh, good call. So range bound, but definitely you can play the range here if you're so inclined. Looks like 410, 415 area support, and then you're selling at around 430 to 450, and you're always saving a piece for the dream, right? In case this one does catch a bid and takes at that 4 2/3, which is the high of day. Good call out by Drew Farrell. Good look there. Yeah, so that's all I've got at the moment. We're going to continue to watch MTNB, and then at some point I'm going to have to work in Cord, EXLS, or MUZ, Joey, because they're the ones making the move here.
All right, man, good stuff. You can see the Nasdaq most likely falling just based off of that news here. Momentum really starting to pick up, and you can see that this is the largest volume prints since approximately 10:43. So a little bit over an hour ago. So yeah, no coincidence there. Who knows what can happen come this meeting? It's going to be interesting but I do believe what Warsh wants is a decoupling between the market's reaction and the Fed decision, which I can get behind as well. You'll just see less volatility. Could this be a good opportunity for us to buy some up here at 665? Juan, I know you were looking at the longs here on the Nasdaq. It just might take a little bit. I mean, on the S&P 500. So what we have here on the SPY, this could be a good, right? So do this. Don't do this. Anyways, this is what I would potentially do. I have the TQs here. So I would post up right here at 665 on the TQs. It's going to be at 58.65. And then that way I know I'm wrong as soon as we crack the lows, okay? So it's very precise. And that's what's important. Precision is extremely key. Every penny matters in this game. And if you don't really calculate where you're getting in, then you're going to be giving some up for no apparent reason. So just try to be as precise as you possibly can, guys. Once again, I'm Sim, so this isn't even, I don't even know how many shares I bought. Not that many. We're in the TQs here off of the lows. Simulated account, full disclosure, waiting till 2 o'clock to go live again, past 2 o'clock to go live again. But here it is on the Nasdaq. We'll take one more attempt on this bad boy to the long side. But clearly we know, and what we've seen throughout the intraday session, is that sellers are engaged. Maybe this is enough, and Wall Street decides to step back in and buy some. But this sell program in AMD is getting pretty aggressive. Now 584 high, you're down to 426. It's just this void is going to be filled, unfortunately. How's Amazon been performing? This is a name that we don't often look at, but AWS, shout out to them, down 18%. I mean, hey, not too bad of a look there in Amazon. Now, what we got here in some of the crypto plays, MSTR, okay, still hovering around the lows. Bitcoin and them in Ethereum, I don't believe are back in play just yet. It might take a little bit longer than what we're expecting, but shout out to Salesforce. Salesforce is up 4% here today, Sharif. bouncing off those lows of 150 or 148, that's 30% right there if you happen to get in. I mean, it's really tough to be that precise. But anyways, aside from that, there's the bounce that we're looking for on the Nasdaq. We're long from 73s, now pumping into 58.80s. Now, we're out at the crack of the low. If not, we're going to be looking to take some off here with a little bit stronger of a bounce into $59 on the TQQs.
All right, man. GSUN is making a move. Great call out. I forget the individual who called that out, but GSUN into the high. I'm trying to load it here. Sorry, guys. There we go. 30 pennies, 30.40 high. So I'm talking pennies, not dollars. 30.40 high here on GSUN. It's flat top. It's a flat top break candidate, essentially with 30 pennies as the flat top. I would suggest that you build your position closer to VWAP, which is around 26 to 27 pennies. That's what I'm going to do, getting in light here with a plan, not a random, event to add. So we're going to go buy at 27. We're going to go buy at 26, and I'm going to look to defend here. So let's see what we get on GSUN, whether we can take out that 30 seller. Might not be the day for that kind of trade today, but the pickings are slim, so we're going to give this one the old college try. And I am on the verge here of just stopping out on MTNB because it's coming into that 32 area, and I just don't want this to break against me, so I'm going to get out of that so I can focus more on GSUN. Has a lot better of a chart pattern than MTNB. If we can build a position towards the lower end of the range, it feels to me like the real low end is 25 to 24 pennies. So that's where I'm going to be looking to defend into. We can get something in and around that. We can possibly take out that flat top break at around 30 pennies. To me, this looks like the best of the bunch here. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Okay, what the hell? These news items today are hilarious. Let's go to Sia. We're going to go to her right now for happening now, and then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Let's take a look at what the three major averages are doing, and also our little average, the IWM. So the SPY is currently down almost 2% on the day. You have the triple Qs that are down, closing 1.5% on the day. Dow is also down over 1.5% on the day, and you have IWM also in the red, sliding closer to 1.5%. Safe to say all major averages in the red. What I want to talk about is this one sector over here, energy. Probably the bull of the day. It's super strong. You have CVX, XOM, COP, MPC, PSX, all names in green. So earlier this morning, oil prices were significantly up and are significantly still up. Sector is soaring. U.S. President Donald Trump had said that the U.S. will be hitting Iran hard as a response to the surprise attack on American forces in the Middle East. So according to an Axios report, Iran had targeted U.S. base in Jordan, and U.S. National Command has said that the missiles were successfully intercepted. Now, he had told Fox News that, and I quote, Iran is, quote unquote, going to get a beating. This is the nicer version of what he said. What he said, I cannot actually say on camera. He said this to Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst, and he said this after Iran had launched these ballistic missiles on U.S. forces. So with that, you have the energy sector soaring here. I'm just going to check USO levels for you, up very close and inching to 8% on the day. WTI currently trading around $85 a barrel, up also over 7.5% on the day. One ticker that I'm also going to take a look at is APH, that is Amphenol Corporation, that also reported pre-market as of today. So adjusted EPS came in at $1.35 per share, beating consensus estimate of negative $1.19. Revenue at $8.76 billion, representing a 55% increase year over year. And they also recorded orders of $10.7 billion with a book-to-bill ratio of 1:23. Now, they're trading around the $150 region, and the ticker is up almost 5% on the day. But before we head back to the midday, Neil, what is your lesson of the day?
Thank you very much there, CS. So lesson of the day is, well, what do you do when everything goes to plan, but the moves are extending further than you want? You've got to be able to reevaluate. And we come in on a Fed day, and I know it's the same thing for myself on a Fed day. You want to hit it, quit it, make your money in the morning, understand that everything's going to change at 2 o'clock, be a little bit ready and not stuck in anything. I don't even want to usually be in position, going into 2 o'clock. I'd rather be flat and locked and loaded and ready to go. But you know what? There's still something to be said about being able to nibble, continue with trend, because I'll show you almost every single thing that was a short today for myself, whether it was SpaceX topping tail to like the Monday close price, right? Again, it bounced there initially. Don't get back in. I'll come back to where you would re-enter. It's going to seem pretty obvious on the 15-minute chart, but that's part of the reason. Whether it was SMCI in here, short SMCI to the low. When it bounced off the low, get myself out. Even DJ, like the weirdest one is, okay, like seriously, like as if DJT and E also broke the low and continued when we get something with a full retrace. But there are ways where you can find the extension for the trade and still have a reasonable risk. One thing that happens if you hit a target or hit a winner on a trend is, say you get a topping tail candle or you're short something off the open. When it gets to the low, your first price is so good that you're anchored to your entry. Like I'll anchor myself to DJT at 10 o'clock. I will anchor myself mentally to 28 bucks on SMCI or the volume weighted average price or SpaceX at that entry point. So that's first things first. You got to rid yourself of that cognitive bias. And the best way to do that, I find, is if you can look for an entry with tight risk that is similar to your original thesis. Now, in this particular case, if I'm looking for gap to the low, well, then I want to see that new key price level show me an entry point. With SMCI, there was really no hold of the prior day low. It ends up putting this reversal. Yeah, that's a good topping tail. I suppose you could enter there, but it's right in here. There's your prior low, prior day low. You zoom it in on a 15, it bounces, and what happens? Support turns into resistance. Oh, and it happens to be an even dollar. I'm anchored to underneath the 28, it breaks 27. And when you have these candles reject, you suddenly have a short underneath the 27 or at the 27 area with relatively tight stop. It's not even at the quarter mark that it's heading to that high. And there's your extension trade. And it's not against, sure, you're anchoring yourself to a new price, but it's not against your original thesis. A little bit trickier with SpaceX, I'll admit, when you go out to the higher time frame. However, if we simply look at when it had the parabolic move the day before, there's a support level. When it broke it down at the open, that's what we liked. One green candle on the 15-minute chart. What happens with that green candle? Fails here. And then another topping tail, confirmation candle. Then you look, we open right up 113.5. It's exactly where it bounced to get out of our long. So you reorient yourself with a strategy that you normally like around a key price level. Find that little bit of a continuation trade and stick with the plan of action. Now, DJT was an even easier one. So this is about as easy as it gets for a continuation as with DJT, because it should have been much, much earlier. Much, much earlier. And I'll actually chastise myself for 2 exits here in front of 990. Once this loses the prior day high, I wasn't just dealing with a trend break at 10. This then turned into a false breakout on the higher time frame. Like on the 15-minute, that is all kinds of a false breakout. And then you zoom it even further back for effect, and you look at how much worse these outs look like if you zoom it out further. This is why this one's easier. Look at all of this failure at 990. So instead of taking more outs there, I should be holding on to some. I'll admit it. Usually I hold a little bit more station to station. Those are really not that acceptable. A win's a win. You see a $10 stock, you think 10 cents is pretty good, right? Because it's 1%. But you've got to be able to zoom out and look at the bigger structure, because that makes right in here the place where if you haven't taken anything out, you can be holding for this gap, or zoom out, see that you've got a bigger structure trade happening, failing above this, and then you're adding to it right underneath the 990, and you're looking for just a bigger retracement. You're not changing the style of trade that you're doing at all. Like, you're looking at the same types of entry parameters. You're looking at the same direction, but you're just zooming it out a little bit further to find that next level that you can work off of. Again, I like to keep it a little bit tight to the vest, make sure the stops are getting tight. You're not moving to new names necessarily because it's a day that maybe you want to be a little bit more conservative because the Fed is coming in. But that does allow you to find more opportunities in the things that worked for you. I'm not talking about jumping ship into some stock you didn't trade before or that you didn't have success with. Simply about adding to what was already a working thesis in a simplistic way. So, I mean, obviously, I wish I had done that myself, but a good day is a good day. You're always trying to get a little bit better. Green is green. You'll take whatever you can get. But when in doubt, zoom out. That's my line. KC seems to like it as well, so we'll roll with that. KC, shout out to KC. Thank you for all the gifts, the super chats, everything. You're always so gracious of a viewer. And I think little quotes like that, and I can't take credit for that because I've heard that multiple times. I think I probably heard when in doubt, zoom out at some point in like the first 2 or 3 months as a trainee in 2003. I don't remember who said it, but somebody on the trading floor I know said it. I remember hearing things like it was a really big downward trending day. Everything was tanking, right? So it was like, oh, tanking this, tanking that. And there was one full-time trader who sat like a row in front of me to the right. I always struggle to remember that. I think it was Rob, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. And the whole time he was just saying to himself, short the pops, short the pops, short the pops. And I used to think it was cool to say because the market's going down. He's like, short the pops. Oh, he's aggressively shorting. But then what I took from that was, hey, he's saying that over and over again to stay patient and not trying to be chasing the move. Like he's waiting for his opportunities to get in. When things come back up, it's like, oh, now I'm gonna find myself an entry. And he wasn't saying it to hype anybody up. He was actually talking to himself, telling himself to short the pops. And little things like that I take away. It's whatever works for you to stay in the pocket, to stay locked and loaded, to make your trading a little bit better, whether it's a mantra. Who knows? Whether it's wet the beak, you hear Sharif say that. Hey, take a piece out. Don't get it all out. Or don't get it all in at once, wet the beak. That's another phrase that I think makes a heck of a lot of sense. So you leave some on for the dream. There's lots of ways that you can look at, but they're all little ideas to make yourself a little bit better. I'll give the report. It was like a beef stroganoff with some pasta was the lunch today. There, not a lot of protein in it. So, but it was actually not that bad. Pretty tasty. The pasta was pretty good. Vegetables are always top notch. So we enjoyed that. Remember, it is a Fed day. So you might see, even though market's bleeding and still moving, you might see a little bit lower volumes until we get back into 2 o'clock. And we'll see you a little bit earlier. Around 1:45, 1:50, we'll be back on to take you into the Fed. For now, you got the Midday boys to crush it, the Bash Brothers.
Thank you very much, Neil. An excellent, informative, and just all around awesome as always. I think he nailed it. There we go. All right. VinFast continues to expand beyond vehicle sales. This week, VinFast India, they partnered with Shriram Finance to support EV financing access. And then Green SM, for their part, they launched an all-electric ride-hailing service in Kazakhstan, and they're actually using VinFast VF6 vehicles. So together, this combination move highlights VinFast's broader mobility ecosystem strategy. If you're interested in trading them, investing in them, or finding out more, you can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. Shout out to VinFast, bruh. All right, look, we're building a position, as I mentioned, on GSUN. Look, there's not a lot of great momentum names today. There's some moving up that are at highs, and I keep asking myself why I don't trade them. MUZ, EXLS, CORD. But GSUN is screaming at me. Flat top break with higher lows. So it's got that ascending wedge pattern vis-a-vis the higher lows, and it's got the flat top vis-a-vis the resistance at 30. So I'm building a position pretty strategically. Now, anything can happen. I have an out now that's a little bit below 24. And the reason I say that is because, generally it's been a 24 penny support, but there have been areas where it's obviously breached on a wick basis only to recover. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I like the look of GSUN better than most. MTNB is losing it. AGRZ is losing it. I'm interested in NCRA for a curl above VWAP, but knowing full well that we traded this and it failed into 4. So maybe it's got another opportunity here to get back into 4, vis-a-vis these higher lows. And, you know, I'm absolutely fine entertaining that idea. I will need to see a little bit more, though, in terms of a bid before jumping in. There goes GSUN again, options, man, into the high 30s. We're looking for 31s next. And then after 31,
Yeah.
you know what I'm looking for after 31?
32.
31.9.
Oh. Wow.
I only did that.
Well, you did me
no,
dirty.
but I literally did.
You did me dirty
Fabian,
there,
because
man.
I wanted to get ahead of the level. And there goes GSUN into an area high. This is the high of the day as we speak. Here comes 32 options, man. And we take out 32.
But you said you weren't even looking for 32.
But
so don't wait, but don't even
31.9,
bring
my
that
boy.
nonsense to me, man.
31.9,
You
my
weren't even
boy.
looking for 32,
We're going to wait at
my boy.
33.9 too.
Crazy.
And then you know what else we're going to do?
What?
We're going to wait at 34.9 too, man.
crazy.
So I'm losing it.
Yeah, same. I've already lost it, so that's all right, man. Come join the club.
Did you know, Sharif, in almighty Kazakhstan, you can, with your finger, indicate you need a ride and anyone interested will stop? You mean hitchhiking? That's what I know hitchhiking to be. You throw up the old, hand, fingers, and people stop.
Did you ever
Have
hitchhike?
you ever hit?
No, there we go. No, I haven't.
I've never,
No,
man. My old man
not safe.
did in Egypt when it was safe to do so. Like they
Yeah.
used to go to the West Coast because
No,
he
not
grew
so
up poor.
safe.
And so, they didn't have a lot of money.
So you got to get around.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's different. I think it's a little bit different in certain countries, but no, here you don't hitchhike here.
No.
But in like Jamaica, it's more
know people that
common,
have,
right?
though.
People just drive around and you're like, all right, which way you going? This way or that way?
There's this guy on TikTok, Egyptian guy. His name is Omar No, right? What his shtick is, he went from Egypt to Japan without flying. That was his first thing. He made an entire TikTok page around this, and now his
that's pretty
shtick
cool.
is he's going around the world without flying. And so that's kind of what he does all the time. He
So he
has
has
to
to take a
hitchhike
boat
all the time.
So he's boating.
He's boating with the bigger areas, but he's hitchhiking, taking these kind of, collective or just like
Real,
bus and like little micro
Real
buses and
nomad.
stuff.
Real nomad. Like,
He is
I
real
like-
nomad.
I like
There
that.
goes G-Sun Joey through 33. We're looking for 33.9. Then we're looking for 34.9. This is above the level, so we're going to keep an eye on this. I added aggressively. I've added pretty good here to only a couple of dip trades that didn't fill. I'm talking about 26 and 25. But here it comes into 31. So there's still some resistance here as this one has done 86 million shares on the day.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, guys. I mean, the market's still continuing to sell here. I might look at some small cap names and see what Sharif's got going on there. Some of them do seem to have some form of Momo. SOX S is pretty strong today. And then DFNS, how have you been performing? Not much going on there. Adam James quiet in the chat. So not too many booms going on here today. So yeah, I mean, hey man, it is what it is. As NVDA puts in a new low, gonna help drag the Nasdaq down. We're still sitting in this position. We got out and looking. It's just like, all right, we're already at this noon hour. No point in us continuously trying to fight this. We're not gonna go to short. With that being said, I think it's a good day where you're just like, all right, complete risk off, right? So yeah, interesting. Let's see what Ram has to say. One time I had to hitchhike back into the Canadian border because my parents forgot about me, thinking I just want to stay in America for the summer. How did that?
Yeah, just so many questions. I have so many questions.
Yeah, there's so many. We'll leave it where it is.
Ram, did you upset your parents before this happened?
Yeah.
So forgot her.
So Joe, Ram's the female version of Joe Dirt. They just parents just left him.
They left him. They left him on purpose. They didn't like it.
Maybe they just didn't like it.
His wig mullet.
Yeah.
Ended up sticking to his head.
I know, man. Poor Joe.
Remember, like how he would always like flip back his hair. He was always doing the little mullet thing there.
Man. Shout out to.
Australian guys look a lot like that. You notice Australian guys have, yeah. Well, don't they? Am I wrong?
No,
the stash and the mullet?
I don't think so, yeah.
I've seen so many Australian dudes with the stash and the mullet way more than we see here.
Yeah.
I think that that's their shtick over there.
Man, I'm all about planes, trains, and automobiles. Those are good times. We're
Joey.
going off to, wait, hold on, man. We got to go to see
Everything's good. Yeah, let's go to see.
The IWM is currently still down on the day, inching closer, over actually 1.5%. It might hit that 1.7% today, honestly. Let's take a look at 3 small cap tickers I have for you today. BBIO, that is BridgeBio Pharma. It's 1.5% down. BridgeBio Pharma has announced its revenue estimate standing at $221.15 million, and EPS anticipated at 58 cents as the company reports its earnings on the 30th of July. Second one, we have Frog. Frog isn't jumping. It's down 5%, and JFrog will be presenting at investor conferences during the third quarter of 2026 at Boston as well as Deer Valley, Utah. So it's down 5%. Finally, you have PR, that is Permian Resources, that is up close to 4.5%, over 4.5%, setting to announce its earnings on the 5th of August. Revenue estimate standing at $1.66 billion with EPS anticipated at 58 cents.
Yeah, I agree.
Assassino, let's do this.
Do it, Assassino.
Oh, it's Tiff. Get him, Joe. Look at it, look at it.
Tiffany, oh, wow.
That's when they shafted him
Yeah,
there. That's
look
what
at
they
that.
told him.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to call you a ambulance?
Yeah, it's like you want a
Wham.
cheeseburger and some French
So
fries.
good. This is the best one, though. Oh, my God.
Man.
Just
Tiffany sent
boy.
you that?
Yeah. No, I found it, man.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm Joe
I was gonna
Dirt.
say, what does Tiffany? Do you know this? Are you
Do you
familiar
know
with this
Joe
movie?
Dirt, Tiff? A little bit.
Do you know
'cause
the?
it's
Are you
funny.
familiar, Tiffany? Are you familiar with the movie Superbad?
That's crazy. Tiff, if you don't mind us asking, how old are you? Oh, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, so, you are the youngest person, I think, in this room. Oh, you're 22 as well? I thought you were 23. My bad. Okay, cool. When's your birthday? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Her birthday literally is
crazy.
6'7", so you're a Gemini. That's awesome. Sia is, I think, a little bit older than you because she's born in April. So, yes, I do. So, yes, Sia, technically, you are a little bit older. There you go.
6'7" is crazy.
All right, man. We're getting, Case.
Yeah.
Get it, Case. Thanks, TTV, on the Cord call-out Monday.
We got you covered.
Yes, absolutely. Cord, Case, are you holding this as a swing? Because, again, I got to tell you, I was really taken by the amount of you guys that are swinging these small cap gappers, and quite successfully so. So shout out to Case. Thank you so much. As always, Casey, the magnanimous one, dropping another 10 in the chat. We thank her for that, as always. But I just want to know, Casey, you've been swinging this since Monday, because it feels like, you're talking about it since Monday. Swinging 100%. She says, love to hear it, Case. Print up multiple storms, as I know you are doing on your side of the screen. Get it, girl. Brian, I think NCRA is about to go off. 20 EMA crossing VWAP right now. Great call out there, Brian, because I did throw this one on the... Oh, Joey.
Yeah.
I think my platform is crashing.
That's all right, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things crashing.
It won't let me. Yeah, hold on here. Something's
live my life,
afoot,
bro.
Joey.
You want me to take over?
Yeah,
for you
you're
there?
gonna have to take. Oh, there we go, brother.
You got it figured out?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know.
NCRA. Here we go, Joe.
Okay.
So look at this. I want to
right.
get your opinion on this,
Yeah,
brother.
let me know.
You got to look at the screen though.
Yeah, no, but you said it the other day, man. 0 attention span.
Hey, man, you can always improve. Look at this. Area low,
Yeah.
higher low, higher low, higher low. You think should put a dip trade maybe 293, catch that higher low for an eventual move above 350?
I think that's a good play because
that's not a bad one, huh?
You're proven wrong significantly sooner. So like as soon as it cracks, then you.
Would you get out through this area right here, this bad boy right there?
1,000%.
So that's 2.
Oh, that's even further. That's even
further.
Yeah, I would give it a especially because you have those higher lows. I would.
Well, exactly.
As soon as you enter the void, then that's it.
The void. Oh my God! Don't go into the abyss. There goes G-Sun again. We're gonna wet the beak, and that means we're sending you up to see you.
We're just going to talk here really quickly about GeoOGL. Bit of a push higher here for Google, introducing this new model for creating music called Lyria 3.5. Again, not much of a move, but a little bit of a bounce here for GeoOGL with this new AI model announcement for, again, music creation. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, Joey. Had to stop out. It lost 30 pennies on GSU, and so we're gone.
Okay.
Right. If it gets back up, then maybe we can have a conversation. But I was looking for 30 generally to hold. It dipped all the way down into 28, so I had to get out there. My price was 28. Let's see if it defends this area. If it moves back up, I'll get in. But right now, not liking it. Cars, wow. Carso, wow. Tried to tell you about it earlier. Brother, I saw the message, but I already have it on the side chart. So I was very much alive to NCRA, brother. And if it does take out that 330 level, I'm going to get involved. I was involved in it earlier. I'll show you my trade on that. I think it's over here.
That was gold performance.
Oh, maybe take it off here, Joey. Let's see.
Oh.
No. Maybe it's this one here. No. Then probably this one, GSUN. Yes, there we go. See this? Yeah. So we got in long, stopped out. So, you know, this one is on Uncle Sheriff's you know what.
Oh.
Right? So we're going to leave this one alone until I see a little bit more here. But NCRA definitely staying on the side chart, brother.
All right, good stuff, man. Now, Pepe, I'm not yet anyways. I'll write in the chat why. It may seem that way is because I don't, like yourself, I don't have $1 billion. So until then, you won't see any pep in my step. That's not true at all whatsoever. Yeah, the Pepe billionaire. All right, guys, let's head over to our watch list and see what we got going on. You can see that we took our second attempt. This is why it's really important to get out, right? So, like, we're looking for that long. You get that initial pop, but with more, we're looking for an additional level, right? 59. North of that, 59.20, we would start to piece them out. But you can see that we got out of the position, but then we got right back in, drastically increasing our risk to reward. So imagine I held on to this, you sit through all of this volatility, and then to the extent where you're just holding, once you head up to 58.76, or 75, sorry, you're just break even. So you've held this position 2 or 3 hour against you, and now you're only 1 hour in the money. No, that's why you get out and increase your risk to reward. And then sure enough, you can see the difference between where we entered our first position and then where we're entering the second position from 58.40s all the way up to $59. Now moving forward, we can see that there is a slight increase in the VIX, guys. And on the daily, we had a low of $15, now climbing up 30%, north of 30% from that zone there. So watch out. We know that inverse correlation between the two. VIX up, market most likely down. VIX down, market most likely cool and on the rise. Okay, is it always that case? No, but the majority of the time, you have that inverse correlation for a while. I mean, for always, mostly actually, it's not always, most of the time it is. But what we've seen in USO at the beginning of the conflict was USO up, market down, USO down, market up. That decoupling and the divergence started to happen. But anyways, aside from that, just keep an eye out on some more downside here, guys. And I mentioned that some names could just be getting started. Okay, there goes the market. A nice strong rebound. The question is, do we head into the volume weighted average price? Google, I'm going to be waiting here. I will buy some more on the backside of this trend. I grabbed a little bit at 350, but now we're on cash. We offloaded a couple of large positions, so now I'm going to wait for the backside of this trend to see, really condensing our holdings right now. JPM's been working fantastic, but the bank's not necessarily strong. We're all at a TKO. TKO was fun while it lasted, but it wasn't anything substantial, and it was just kind of me spreading myself a little bit too thin. Okay, we don't necessarily want that. Don't forget Jersey Mike's tomorrow, guys. The IPO coming to us 10 times oversubscribed. Darrow saying that was a couple of days ago. The narrative may have changed since then. Now, as for XLP, this is our staples. We're not too far, right? We're not too far off of the all-time highs on this one. Only 3% in consumer staples. But you know what's not too far? XLV.
What's that?
Not too the healthcare ETF.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So this was the best performing sector. Okay. Of today's session. We're up a couple of percentage points, and we're still not too far off of the all-time high. 0.8%. Yesterday, we ran into it. So when we're looking for a rotation out of tech, the memory names, and the chip plays, you have to go through your sectors. Who is it? The financials, the staples, and here now, potentially, healthcare. You see a little bit of a rotation into some of these spaces. So the money has to flock somewhere, Sharif.
Money. There goes GSUN again through 30. We got back in here pretty aggressively. I have 29.6. It says 30, but it's incorrect. 29.6. It just rounds up. And now we're looking for another attempt here at 33 break. So this one seems to find a lot of support at the 10 EMA. So initially I was looking at 30 pennies because to me 30 looked like, you know, that initial resistance area that was now acting as support. But as I watch this a little bit more, very few in the way of closing prints or closing anything below the 10 EMA on the 5. So I'm going to base my ins and outs now on that. So we'll see how this cookie ends up crumbling, but looking for a high of day break and, you know, knowing full well this could turn on me or spend very little time in any one area, hence why I've thrown a lot of these, what are they called? Resting orders out. So I also want to mention Path. Shout out to Yannick for calling this one out. This is obviously UiPath, which is not a small cap gapper, $6.5 billion market cap. I'm not going to trade it, but you may like this level. Looks like there was some resistance here between 12.5 to 12.55. It goes up to 12.65, so it could be a range trade for those who are interested. But yeah, we're going to stick with the small caps. Edible says Big Wick Energy. All right, light volume, brother. I see it's up 13%, close to the high of the day. In fact, it is at the high of the day, 285 high, but it's $1.45 million market cap. Wow, and only 361,000 shares traded on the day. I guess they got a good headline yesterday. Edible Garden announces Nasdaq panel grants continued listing subject to demonstrating $1 minimum bid price compliance by the 15th of August. Yeah, you guys got a couple of weeks, man.
Oh.
So do it. So that's what I'm looking at. TT Mass saying COUR. Let's look at COUR. Big breakout there. Nice call out, TT Mass. The volume 7.25 million. Great call out, TT Mass. COUR goes on the side chart, and that's a big breakout now. Look, it was low volume before, but the volume is stepping in now. It's up 8.25%, 635 high. Watch out, though, for the reversion because it was a low volume play, and then it rocketed up kind of out of nowhere. Watch out for that Christmas tree retracement that we often talk about. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. And now I'm a little worried here that my GSUN trade is going to go against me, it feels like, because we were putting in an unbroken lower high trend. I have to stop out at 27.5. I won't give it any more than that. So that's what we'll do there, Joey. And we'll throw it into 27. Let's see how many shares we still have left. That's cool. So we'll throw that on there, and we'll see exactly what we get on that one. But I'm looking for it to hold. So GSUN in focus up 50%. Let's go up to SIA.
All right, let's look at the sector right now, but you have SPY that is inching close to 8%, down on the day. Electric tech, Apple starting off flat. NVIDIA is down closer to 3% on the day. AVGO also following footsteps of NVIDIA to be down 2% on the day. Now you have AMD, MU, chip names again lagging a little bit as of today, continuing a little bit of a bearish momentum from yesterday. AMD is down 5.5%. MU is down over 5.5%. KLAC, ANET as well, but you have a little bit, I would say, of a strength in STX that's up closer to 2% on the day, whereas you have other names like TXN, RTX all down, GE as well down on the day. Cisco trading flat apparently, however, and APH that did report earnings pre-market as of today, that's up 5% almost on the day. Tech services, you have Google and Microsoft trading a little bit above the 0.5% mark over here. Meta trading flat. Oracle is down, followed by PANW over 2% individually on the day. Netflix, you have that's up 1%. Palantir up 1% as well. CRM is up closer to 4% on the day. Not a bad look over here. IBM is flat, whereas CRWD down 1.2%. And ACN is doing pretty good for itself today, inching closer to up 6% on the day. Finance, BRKB is not showing the bit of strength today. JPM also sliding further into the downside, 2.5%. BAC down 1.3%. MS down 3.3%. GS down 4.3%. Not a great look, but Visa holding a little bit of a stronger momentum here. Visa is up 1.7%. So I also just want to take a quick look that it reported EPS of $3.32 per share versus $3.22 per share, and revenue coming in at $11.6 billion versus $11.38 billion that was expected. Not a bad look. MasterCard up almost 1%. Robinhood, however, is down 3.4%. Retail trade, you have Amazon towards the downside, 0.74% to be precise. Walmart is on the upside, over 0.5% up. Costco is up 1%. Home Depot sliding a bit further into its losses. You have TJX that's up 1%. Producer manufacturing seems like the bear of the day on the sector over here on the S&P 500. Producer manufacturing, CAT, AMAT, LRCX all lagging down. Consumer non-durables, and I would say utilities, process industries, transportation are a mixed bag of names that are some doing well, some not so much. Health tech, relatively flat here, whereas ABBV up 1%. And energy minerals, like I did cover, strength in that sector today. Consumer durables, Tesla falling 2%, but we're going to pause and go to Adara because she has news for you.
Keep an eye on Hims and Hers Health, guys. HIMS in focus, seeing a couple different reports here suggesting that the Federal Trade Commissioner, FTC, is suing Hims and Hers, HIMS, over billing, cancellation, and privacy practices. So more woes here for HIMS, which actually dropped about $1 initially on this news before recovering. Let's see how this one fares. And if I get any more updates on this report, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you so much, Adara. I'm just going to quickly cover two more. Industrial sectors as well. We have process industries as well, a merged bag of a mixed bag of stocks. There's a lot happening, a lot not happening. I would say process industries, however, I do want to mention a name, BG and SW. BG is down over 6.5%. That's over almost 7% on the day. SW down close to 6% on the day. Consumer non-durables, you have KO, that's up 1.6%. We did discuss KO on the show as well yesterday. And finally, we have non-energy minerals, FCX, continuing to slide 4.5%.
All right, good. Thank you very much for that. See, yeah, we took a little bit more off here, guys, on the TQ. So a nice move from approximately 58.40s all the way to a high around 59.30s there. And now starting to get a little bit of a pullback. So you have to be patient if you are looking to fade these pops. Sellers are stepping right back in, guys. So they are pushing price lower approximately 50 cents from where that previous pivot high was there, Sri.
All right, man. Stopped out of GSUN for the last remaining amount. I mean, it's an unbroken downtrend ever since putting in that high at 33.10. So, yeah, I'm trying to bottom pick here. I'm just going to try to build my position in NCRA and catch those higher lows. So we did get a failed breakout there into the 40s. So I'm building a position. I'm going to build it into the 280s, give or take. So a little bit below 3. We're getting in a little at a time. So if it goes, it's going to have to go here without a full position, which is normal, right? Oh, it's already going here. It looks like it's taking back 20. Initially finding some support here in the low 3s and now kind of moving back up into the 3 mid-teens. So we'll keep an eye out on NCRA. It's up big. It's 120% winner, but you know, it's well off the highs. Just put it that way. Let's look at COUR as well, because this is hanging out at the highs. Shout out to TT Mass for calling this one out, showing 6 1/3. There's a lot of buying here for whatever reason at 630. Because look at this. This is the 1 minute chart on the top, and nothing is really breaching that level. So we can kind of try this, right? We're not too far away from that. So I'll give this one the old college try. We'll give it to like 28s or something, right? We'll do that, and we'll see what we get on COUR. Let's see if we can run this into the $0.50. It's a 640 high, but it does have a topping tail candle as a prior bar. Where's my other trade over here? There we go. Seller at 18 still on NCRA. So I haven't seen this print anything above 18. So it feels like the short sellers here are earmarking 18 as an area resistance. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if we can ride it into the high. But yeah, light day today in terms of, you know, a lot of small cap gappers continuing to make runs. So 18 showing up again, 19 now. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher to see if we can take out that seller. 2 penny spread to me at 19 means, you know, that there wasn't the bid to support the breach of 18. So yeah, we'll continue to wait here, Joe.
Sounds good, brother. All right, guys, let's go take a look once again at some of the damage that is done here in the overall market. Once again, we don't want to make too much light of it, but at the end of the day, if you've been piecing some out and you're sitting on some cash, I've seen a couple people in the chat saying that they're sitting on cash. Well, congratulations, you're putting yourself in a solid position. Now, what was our previous pullback that we've seen in the market, which was pretty rapid, right? So at some point, I figured that we were going to get something to the tune of 12.5%. We're roughly sitting on that right now. 11%, so another percent in a way. I mean, it's a gap down from hitting that benchmark. And I like what Brian Shannon had to say yesterday, AB equals CD, which is very true. I like that. So when you're looking at an ABCD pattern, this move down, where could those next potential legs be? I mean, this would be pretty dramatic, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see somewhere around a 15%. Same, bro. But yeah, in all seriousness, let's actually zoom out a little bit because we've gone over this example on multiple occasions, okay? Now, the month doesn't show us as much detail, so what we will do is maybe get into the weekly and we can see a little bit better and we can get a bigger picture of what can potentially happen and what we can prepare ourselves for, okay? So where do things start off, all right? Where does each pullback lead us to, and where does each previous pivot high lead us to, okay? Those are the questions that I'm asking. So we're gonna go almost back a decade, 8 years. So what we have is, we'll call this a shelf right here at $186, all right? So we pull back to $144 here, and then we go on another run to the tune where we almost, you can see this collective pivot, right? So we're starting to form a base up here. There is a little bit of a whipsaw move, but past that, come COVID, you hold on to that level, all right? Which I think is really important to note. Now, where is our next major pivot? Okay, this was gonna be this previous high, the start of COVID, okay? So let's take a look at this one here and see where the next following major pullback leads us. So we go on this multi-year run from 20 to 22, we're just excited, or 21, early 21 to late 21. We're excited. So we form another pivot all the way up here. I like what Sia says, stick with me. What am I getting at here? But where is that next base formed? Well, our previous key pivot. Okay, so you pull back to that zone. You guys see what I'm getting at. So we go on another run. Oh, we have a base from 21. Where was the tariff tantrum pivot? Oh my God. Right at that base. So what I'm getting at here is, where is that next level going to be? I believe it can either be multiple options, right? So we've had this pullback before. You see how this is working out? How each pop eventually gets brought back to your previous pivot high. Now, I think this can be a pretty solid thesis in the fact that, okay, we went on this pretty hefty run. The sky isn't falling just yet. So let's aim for $635 on the Nasdaq. Why? Because you pivot high, you sell off, you come back to that pivot. You pivot high, you climb higher, you sell off, oh, you're back at that pivot. You see the pattern that's ongoing, and I think that's something that we can set as somewhat as a base case and what I'm going to be looking for. We had a 12% pullback before. This would put us around 15%, which I think is totally reasonable. Now, who would need to participate in the broader sell-off in order for this to happen? You need the big names. And who are the big names that have been pretty strong? I mean, Apple's been on a fantastic run. Microsoft has been selling for quite some time, but could it be the collective unit of some of these memory stores? Could it be Google, Amazon, Broadcom, all the trillion-dollar club names that are going to send the market a little bit lower? I think so. A breath is reasonable, and you want to see some cleaner price action. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Listen, if I was involved with it, what's that one politician who's like, it's not corruption if I'm involved?
Yeah, the African guy. So
you know what I mean? It's not corruption if I'm involved, but it's corruption if he's not involved.
Yeah.
Randy, have you ever seen that guy? It's funny.
Fantastic,
Yeah, some
Randy.
Politician. Crazy. Yeah.
And
He's like,
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I gotta
Great
watch that
accent.
video. Yeah. So, anyways, so this is, we'll call this. I'm not going to, because it's not. But again, it's all fun and games on the way up until it's not, and on the way down, things can get pretty ugly. But that's why I was stating, hey, we have to be a little bit more patient when we see this exuberance, because at some point you will have that turnaround, and you just hope that you're not going to get caught off at the top. Because if you're the individual, because there's an opposite party who's buying up here in the 2000s. Now, unfortunately, you're down 50%, and that's it's not fun, and it's difficult to sit through, especially if you expend the majority of your capital and allocate it all at once. You're stuck scratching your head.
Oh.
And
well, at least you're not scratching something else, which is good.
Yeah, well, I was going to say something else, but I decided not to. Because we could
Get it,
keep
Joey.
it PG-13.
PG.
But no, you see what I was getting at here, Shreve, with the Nasdaq.
sir.
I think this is totally reasonable pullback heading up into 635. That'll just add some calmness, I believe, into the market, considering.
Well said. Well said. We're still in NCRA here, zigging and zagging, a little above my level, a little bit below. Nothing doing quite yet. Trying to build a position into this slowly, so we're not getting in too much too quickly. So nothing to worry about. Well, not yet anyway. COUR, I think I may stop out here. Okay, this premature stop out, of course. We're at 33s. It's at 30. I'm going to take it out here simply because it's got a topping tail candle. Now it's made a new area low. So that's not what I'm involved in this for. But I just saw that NCRA dipped down. Oh, no, and it went without me here. So let's go on this one. There we go. Right back in to that right off the level. So it gave me a perfect opportunity to catch a dip trade, but I was looking at COUR, which is all right. That's my fault there, but looking for this one to hold up on the higher lows. And let's see if we can take out that 340 seller that we encountered at 1230 on the 5-minute chart. So that's all I've got for now. I left G-Sun because it's putting in lower highs, so there's no point in being involved with that, right? We went the beak a bunch of times on G-Sun, but it came back in to that VWAP level. It hasn't shown me any higher highs. Currently, it's got a higher low relative to the prior area low, but no higher highs at the moment. We start seeing those higher highs, I can certainly work in. So I'm going to continue to watch NCRA. Les says AMX coming back. Let's have a look at AMIX. Sorry, AMIX. Yeah, kind of the same look as NCRA, where it's got some higher lows, but below VWAP, trying to work its way back. But yeah, good point there. We're going to take off ALVO. We'll put AMIX on there, lest this one break out without me, which would be cool. So there we go. It's on the side chart. Thank you for that, brother. I know this one was running in the morning, but I just have a short-term memory when it comes to these names because we trade so many of them. Look at Cake ATH. Oh, yeah. We were looking at that one earlier. Oh, yeah, but it's so expensive. That's why I did see this one because it's gapping up quite nicely, but it's $101, $169 the high of the day, but it is up 13%, $5 billion market cap. But you're not wrong, man. Is that it?
Bro,
Yeah.
The funniest part is when he's like,
corruption is only bad if I am not involved.
Yeah, and then there's honestly someone in the background who's like, yes. It's like, yo.
I think he's mocking the parliamentarians, right? Yeah, but like, it's still funny.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it. That's a classic video there, brother. So
it is
good shout out on you for that
video,
one.
Man.
I like corruption, Joe.
Yeah.
Corruption is very good.
Oh, do you know Corrupt FM?
No.
Oh,
what
man.
is that? Tell
If
me.
anybody in the
Enlighten me.
chat knows Corrupt FM, I don't even know what to say. We might be best friends. So.
Oh, really? Okay, tell me. You can't just tease.
No,
like
it's
that,
Corrupt FM is it's English comedy. So it's just about this TV show. It's like the British Trailer Park Boys. Kind of. These guys have this
It's called
radio.
Corrupt FM?
Yeah, the radio. Well, it's
I
called People
figured it was
Just.
radio,
It's called
yeah.
People Just Do Nothing, and it's about these guys who have this absolutely nothing radio station called Corrupt FM, and they have like 5 listeners, and they have like it's English humor, man, and they
Which
play
is
like
dry,
which
I like.
Yeah, exactly, and they like play the same song for like all day, and then they have like rival radio stations as well. So Corrupt FM is
Like it.
classic.
I like it.
All right, speaking of the market, let's go over here and take a look at some of the larger participants here. Some people are saying Netflix is the chart of the day. All right, well, let me be the judge of that there, Sharif. It's not bad. It was on a big time run, right? You see this consolidation, and then eventually it broke out from those lows of 71.86 all the way to a high of around 73.34. Not too bad whatsoever. We'll take that on Netflix. Still hovering around, and this downtrend is still intact, ladies and gentlemen. So just keep that in mind. We haven't broke it just yet. And look what happened the last time that we did. I thought we would be off to the races and potentially testing all-time highs. That was definitely not the case here, as it gave back the majority of this move and ended up establishing new lows of the day. Let's send it over to the desk.
Sorry. Let's take a look at the money markets and what is going on here. So the USD JPY pair currently trading around the 163 region. I would say is trading lower on the day. As of today, it's currently almost flat, but up very, very, very less, 0.04% at the moment. Let's also take a look at the pound. That's GBP and what it's doing at the moment. So it's trading around 1.3283 to be very precise. Now, why? It has held near 4-week lows against the dollar as of today, as investors, as you do know, would have pinned their focus on the Fed's decision that is coming in, even as the escalations in the Middle East have ramped up. With that Fed rate decision, let's take a look at the dollar and where it's sitting at the moment. It's at 101.455. That is, it is a bit flattish on the day, but tilting towards the green, up 0.06%. Important thing, like I said, to note that the Fed will be announcing a rate decision today around 2 p.m. Adara will be here to cover it for you. And according to CNN now, Wall Street is largely expecting that the Fed will be keeping rates unchanged, but investors across are not ruling out a surprise rate hike.
All right, good stuff.
We're not getting a rate hike.
No, I don't think that's going to be the case right now. But who knows, man? I'm in the same camp street. But what if Warsh decides to come in and flip the table? You know what I mean? And just flip the script. I don't think he's going to, because
anything can happen, but
anything can happen. But the probability is not there, and it definitely wouldn't make Mr. Sir Donald Trump very happy at all.
No. Quite frankly, I don't think we get any real changes at the Fed until we get some of the results from the task force at the end of the year. So I think that a lot of people who are pricing in possible rate hikes, I just don't see that as a possibility. I think that obviously they're looking at the economics, but I'm looking at the politics and the reality, and I don't think we see a Fed rate hike unless something markedly changes in the economy and we start seeing inflation tick up aggressively. But I personally that's just my opinion there. So we'll see exactly what happens in the days and months to come. I got back into GSUN here because it did break above 30, it did break prior bar high. It's above 30 now. It definitely is showing more of a stair-step pattern than a breakout pattern, with the stair-step support area now at around 28 pennies, maybe 27 and a half.
Wow.
So something to be alive to there. Oh no, NCRA failed. We got to get out of that one. Boo. NCRA down goes NCRA. That's going to stop me out there. And we'll be negative on the day because of that crappy NCRA. So we're going to keep an eye here on GSUN. Maybe we can make it back a little bit if this is able to take out 33.10. But I'm going to try to build a position here, Joey.
All right, man, good stuff. Yeah, not so. I'm just going through some more names here. Applied Materials, Burry himself. There it is, man. Congratulations to you. I don't know what your average price is, but you're down 40% off of the highs. This is a big-time move, right? It's kind of just moving in tandem with some of these memory names. I was looking at ASML. It hasn't been hit as heavy, obviously too different, but it's in the earlier stages, right? So of the build-out, 23% off of that high, and a key structure holding up right now. Now, I was looking at ARM Holdings. This stock is, I don't even really know what to say. ARM. Yeah, man, 455 all the way down to 230. Cut in half, just like that, man. Yeah, ARM not so strong, that's for sure. There is a key base right here, guys. So shout out to hopefully base God right here. See if you can get some form of move back in. Like this 301 could be somewhat of a bounce before you take an additional. But I will say this though, as I go over my charts on a nightly basis, and what we're experiencing right here is, this started in June, and we're at the end of the month. Like mid-June, at the end of the month, the sell-off is relatively quick. That's good. It's not prolonged like what we've seen in 22, where it was a little bit over a year of a bear market in the Nasdaq. This is some relatively quick stuff. And where have we seen this before? The tariff tantrum. But yeah, not a good look there. Katina, man, in your ARM Holdings down 50% off of the high. It's not. Oh, where'd you sell at, Katina, man? Pardon?
North of 400, that was pretty.
No, you got the top. All right, man. All right. Same thing here. We're just going over some of the names, brother. Man, did you sell north of 300 on Marvell too, bro? Because
330, 329.
He did announce it at the time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, down 50% on that one. So listen, Applied Materials down 40%. You're still in it?
Oh, I'm still in SK Hynix.
SK Hynix, okay.
31.
No, okay, all right. So SK Hynix, you're short 31. That ran to a low of around $25. SK Hynix only had really a couple of strong sessions, guys, and then off to the races. With that being said, Sharif, before I send it back to you, I want to take a look at it. The overall index one more time, and that's the Kospi. All right, there's a reason why, and I know I say this pretty much every day, but there's a reason why there's no more of these leverage products being made in South Korea. Do you tend to agree or no, Sharif?
The leverage product?
Yeah, in South Korea, why they're not issuing anymore?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it's rinsing refill. The minister,
like,
did you see the South Korean minister today apologized? I don't know the context in which he apologized or what specifically he apologized for, but it was said relative to these leveraged ETFs. I'm assuming his apology was for not intervening at some point and preventing these from go to market. But I don't need the nanny state to babysit me.
That's fair. Yeah,
this is my money. And I want it now. No, I'm joking. Remember the commercial? If I want to lose my own money, remember?
Yeah, that's crazy.
My money and I want it now. Anyway, guys, we got to go up to Adara. She's
hold on, but is it breaking news? If it is, okay, give me a second here, right? So again, here it is, right? You're almost down 50%. So within the index itself, you need 100% return, pretty much. We'll call it 50 cents just to get back to this previous pivot. If you're in a leveraged product, it's officially reverse split, and the chance of it recovering are very slim to none. Adara.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Nokia here because there's a little bit of a bounce off the lows for NOK, a name that I know we do have some people in this chat watching, so I thought I'd mention. Semaphore reporting that NTIA, which is actually going to be the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, apparently is working with the U.S. to hold initial conversations with private companies, including Nokia, that could drive 6G development. So again, according to an individual with the NTIA, the U.S. is working to hold initial conversations with companies like Nokia to drive 6G development. Nokia was specifically named. Again, this is being reported by Semaphore. Not much of a move, but a little bit of a bounce off the lows. If I hear anything else, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. G-Sun breaking out through 32. We added on the move up. Looking for 33 now. 33.10 is the high a day. 32.25, 32.5. Looking for 33. We're up 65%. Got a good position on this one, but, we're looking for a little bit more here, man. And the thing about this one is, it really was yelling to me, 30 pennies, flat top break. But I guess we just don't have the juice to get away from, former area of resistance because we're all but 3 pennies ahead of that 30 penny flat top break area. Continuing to watch, seller at 32.5. Let's see if we can get anything above 32.5 here and continue moseying on up. It's just not the day for me to say, 50 incoming. It just doesn't feel like that kind of day today, right? Like with the lack of continuity on a lot of these small cap gappers, the failures at technical levels, right? Or the inability to kind of break that technical level by the requisite percentage. And what I'm talking about is essentially the established range. We have about 27.5, 28 support. It was 30 resistance. So that's about what? 2.5 pennies, 3 pennies. We're barely getting up to 33. So, the range is not duplicating here. We definitely need a bigger move above 33 to open up the door, squeeze out the shorts. That's not happening. We're still at 32.1 here, so let's see how this cookie crumbles. COUR did come back into the 10 EMA. Could be a buy here. I stopped out once it lost 30 because we were in at 33s, so that's wrong. Looking for a $0.25 hold. Keep your eye out on that. And then you have PATH as well, which I'm not interested in trading. COUR is finally pulling back a little bit here into 11.25 with an 11.45 high into 11.82. EXLS, though, continues to be the buy program it's looked like all day. Look at this. Into 35.99. We mentioned this to you guys at around 34.5, so $1.50 ago. But good look here for EXCLS or EXLS. There comes G-Sun. Come on. Into 33, 32.75. Goodness gracious, these sub $1 names just have so many areas to post at that you have so much resistance along the way. But there we go. Into about 33. Here's 32.8, 32.9.5. Looking for 33. And then we're going to look for 34. So let's throw up that order there. But there's no continuation above the high of the day at the moment right now on GSUN. But hey, man, this is, I guess, the best one of the bunch. Because quite frankly, I don't see anything else moving. So we're going to focus, fixate on this one until it tells me Not tradable anymore. As always, guys, though, if there is a small cap gapper that I have not mentioned that is breaking out, that is doing volume, that is above the volume weighted average price, love to know about it. Otherwise, below VWAP, you know, the volume's a little light, probably wouldn't trade it. But we're going to go up to Sia right now and talk a little crypto.
Let's take a look at the crypto markets real quick here. You have Bitcoin currently down 0.22% on the day. It's trading around $63,700 region at the moment, but it opened at $63,850 as of Wednesday, that is today, which was 0.2% higher than Tuesday's opening price. Also, Ethereum here, that is currently trading at $1,892, which is down over 1% on the day, inching close to 1.5%. That opened at $1,919.73 as of today. It's currently given back its gains a little bit over here, but it's up 1.5% from Tuesday's opening price. Also, the Ethereum Foundation, that is the EF, has appointed a longtime ecosystem contributor, Kawasaki, known as PC, to its board, which has expanded the group's leadership as well here. So I'm just going to check Solana levels as well, like I always do. Trading around $73 region at the moment. It's down 0.76% on the day.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sia.
Thank you.
Joey.
Thank you.
Options.
Yes, sir. What do I got?
What do you got?
Yeah, all right. We'll figure out what I got right now.
Oh, man, I want to go through my videos at for the conference and Tame Impala and stuff. I totally forgot to do that.
Get those ready.
Yeah,
I want to see the
go ahead,
videos from the conference. There's a couple. What's so funny, Ramin?
Who knows, bro? It's so weird.
Yeah, that's all right, man. We like weird, man.
Yeah, we do.
We like weird.
Ram.
We like Ram here.
Ram.
Shout out to Ramin too. We didn't show any of her drifting videos, but anyways, aside from that, we'll get to that later. Yeah, she sent them. But there it is, 224 all the way. So this stock 51%. Now listen, I might grab a little bit more here off of the lows. Nothing substantial. Okay, so I was grabbing 60s and 50s, and then it obviously tanked. So we're down substantially from that mark in this name. Now this is going to be a significantly longer play than what we're anticipating. Well, guess what? You know what day it is? August 4th stream. So I believe that's going to be next Tuesday is when we get the privilege to see the earnings. And then the 6th is the lockout period. So where all of those shares that were locked up, well, not all of them, a tranche of them anyways, that's your favorite picture, eh?
No, it's just, I have to put them somewhere. They're in my stories, right? So
okay, the story doesn't go away. I don't have Instagram, so I wouldn't know.
No, you can save the stories, then put them in like little albums. I know you're not on the gram.
Okay, I'm not on the gram. So here it is, right? So 106. I do believe there's going to be some more temporary lows. The Nasdaq is finding somewhat of a bottom here, so that's something positive. We're still negative 1%, but you can see, I'm not going to call it a free fall, but it's pretty close to free falling here on the Nasdaq, guys. So a nice little rebound of breath within some of the price action. Again, I don't think it's the end of everything, but it's better than absolutely nothing, as AMD is once again down 5% plus off of those highs. So a little bit tougher of a look there. And SanDisk is almost double digits every day with the exception of today, from 2,300 high all the way down to $1,025 bucks. All right, man, what do you got?
Yeah, let's play some of these videos here. This is the concourse of the Rogers Center. This is where the Blue Jays play their home games. So they rented out like basically half the concourse, right? So they had a bunch of Jays, cheerleaders or whatever they're calling them now, and there's mascots. Yeah, thank you. There's my buddy Alfred, and so this is the actual sitting area, right? So this is Braden Dennis. Obviously, he's one of the co-hosts of the Canadian Investor, a podcast I listen to often. So this is the dome. So they didn't obviously rent out the entire part of the dome, but they had a bunch of these talks. I absolutely loved it. A lot of Q&A, and the Q&A was through the app, so you could get in a good question. And then they really were liberal with their time. So I did really enjoy this. And then we got, of course, Tame Impala. This was the opening act for Tame. I forget the name of the band, DJO or something like that. I hadn't heard of them, but I did like a lot of their numbers. So this is at the Scotiabank Arena. And so this used to be called the Air Canada Centre. It's a smaller place. That's where the Jays play, the Leafs and the Raptors play. This is Tame now. And so these are my seats. So I was literally in row 2, and then right in front of us is standing room only. So this was the concert, or sorry, what's it called? The stage was facing the other way, but it's like an elliptical stage. So they were able to kind of go around all the way. And so they were facing us at times. And this is, I think, the big beat drop when the confetti starts coming down, the laser starts going out. So this was a lot of fun. Tame Impala is like trance-inducing music. Hey, look at this, Joey. Look at the light show that they got going on here. That light show. And then these screens would go up and down, right? So then they at certain times they would just be lower. You wouldn't be able to see the band, and then they would kind of like move up and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. That's something I definitely do again. I do like these sort of like alternative / rock / whatever you're calling them these days concerts. Guys, Path just ripped up into 262. It's 2 pennies off the high of the day now into 1265. Sorry, excuse me, not 262, 1263, 1265 high day, PATH on the move here. Keep an eye out on that. I'm still holding GSUN, looking for a 30 penny support.
Good stuff. Nice rebound here in the Nasdaq, guys. So some strong upticks. Not necessarily the volume spike that we're looking for, but we'll take it. Something is better than nothing at this point as we head right back in towards the volume-weighted average price. Now, this could be a key inflection point on where we're headed in the overall market, but if some of these other names really start to participate, down 2.5% there. Oh, Apple, I wouldn't have guessed that this name was positive as it taps into a new all-time high of $343.52 on today's intraday session. So, yeah, man, this name continuing to add to its market cap, over $5 trillion now, I believe, at this point, Sharif. So this thing doing numbers, and look at the volume.
Yeah, it's over $5 trillion.
Yeah, exactly. What are we at now? 5.1?
5021.
Oh, not quite one. All right,
5022.
22. So yeah, look, big time volume spike here across the board. In the Nas here, what is Google? Google's not necessarily doing it, but we're heading towards some of these pre-market highs. At this pace, I do believe we're going to break and breach, which could be good. Who's down? Oh, okay, we already went over those names. Palantir going back-to-back strong sessions, it seems. So back-to-back jacks there.
Oh.
Up 2%, just a little bit under 2% on the day. Finally finding its way. Okay, yesterday was strong, but it did sell off here. Now, what are we off of the lows? 20%, not horrible, but you have to take into consideration you are 40% off of the highs, which is really, really a tough look. But hopefully Palantir can find its merry way. But that would be you also have to take it. This thing went on an absolute parabolic run to the tune of 300% from November of 2024. All right, so yeah, there's a couple of those names. Coin. So this is why we'll do this example right now of why owning. So you can use leverage. Now, if you're looking to buy a margin account, I think that's significantly different than buying the leverage products. Why? Because you can continuously fund your account, right? So be cautious when you're doing it, obviously. The difference between a leverage product is once the underlying assets hit 50%, officially those have to reverse split just in order to stay liquid and stay within the market. Right? So you have to take that into factor. So here's coin, right? So if they don't accept, he's not. Bang, 62%, right? So 62% to the downside in Coinbase. CoinL is 5. Did a reverse split somewhere. It's based out because it's not good. So you go from 52 all the way to $5. You've lost 90% of your value. That's what makes it so difficult for these names. And that's why I say trade them, don't own them. Trade them, don't own them. Jim Cramer says the opposite of a couple of names.
Well, certain names, yeah. Stacked is breaking out.
Stacked is breaking out. Here is nice TSLA with a $23 high, now down 70% when the actual underlying isn't down that much whatsoever.
You know what time it is, right? It's after 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. You know who that means.
It's time for the man himself.
The man, the myth, the legend. He is known around these parts and many other parts as well as Luis Barbado from the Real Trading Office in the beautiful city of Barcelona, Spain. Hopefully I'll see him sooner rather than later, my guy. 3 weeks to the day, your boy is gone. So very excited. I will be in Barcelona right away. Obviously, we're going to start in London, and then we're going to watch Arsenal's home game, which first time ever, and so I can't tell you how ecstatic I am. But I'm very ecstatic to meet this individual as well. Whenever he's ready, Assassino, let's bring him in. Yep, no problem. Barcelona. Sorry. I know. I said it the North American way. I do apologize there for everybody. All right, guys, we're just waiting. As soon as Andre is ready, we'll bring in. Yep. All right, let's bring in Luis. There he is, Luis Barbado.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, Luis? How is everything? We already know how the weather is.
Do we though?
Yeah.
Well,
Remind
you're
us.
asking this morning.
Love your enthusiasm, guys, when you intro me.
Well, yeah, you weren't. I feel like you weren't very happy with the plus 30-degree weather this morning when you were speaking to Adara. Is there a lot of humidity?
Yeah, a lot. So it's not very nice to be in the city with this temperature, and the humidity is very, very bad. You will see when you come.
Oh, I'm very excited.
See.
I'm very excited, Luis, to actually meet you in person, obviously. And let me ask you something, Luis. So I hope to be able to visit you at the office on a Tuesday. Now, I know that we typically do the small cap segment, on Wednesday and everything like that, but maybe, just maybe, we can do it on a Tuesday so that I can be there doing it with you guys, and then we can have Joey and Obi over here, which would be pretty cool.
That would be great. You are more than welcome. You can trade here. We can do the live session, live trading here, whatever you want. That would be great.
I can't wait to lose money in Barcelona. It's going to be fantastic. No, I'm kidding.
What a better place to lose money, right?
Right, exactly. I always said that. Like when you go east of the Eastern time zone, it's fantastic. You can trade, after your day, your work. But when you go west, like when I go visit my sister in Los Angeles, you're having to get up 3 hours earlier just to catch the market, and it presents a tough opportunity. But let's get down to work.
Yeah, let's get down to business.
Luis, it's a bit of a tough day for the longs today in small cap GARP world. I feel like it was probably a good day for the shorts. What can you tell us?
Yeah, but on the other side, you cannot complain for the last week. I mean, you got plenty of runners going crazy up and keep going during the day and halting up with a huge risk for the short sellers, So for you, I guess it was a very nice week since I think it was Tuesday last week that we had the first crazy runner. We have had ADBL, STKH, STAK, a lot of crazy movement ads with huge hold-ups. Today it's more quiet, that's true. So we had few setup that it worked pretty fine in the short side, yes.
Luis, I don't think you're sharing the screen. So if
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Andre just wanted me to tell you that so we can see your screen there.
Absolutely, sorry.
No worries. We'll set that up. Yeah, so
there is it.
Perfect. Take us through what your look was today. What did you trade? How did it go? And what can you tell us?
Today, I think the easiest way was the easiest trade, was the one we talked pre-market with Adara, was this VIVK. Okay, I was trying to long there, as you can see on the VWAP. Okay, it's not my expertise, but I try as well, I was longing here, get out long again when it was breaking pre-market highs. And then the nice one was this short against the resistance. We were talking about resistance on 3 and 3.15, as you can see here. Let me check. There you go. We shorted against that resistance, $3 and 3.15. We got it from previous days. Okay, right. So that was the nicest one. Probably worked. The key was when the market opened. Okay, the opening bell was the key. If we were trading above the pre-market highs and holding and with volume, this could be at risk. This resistance could be at risk, and we could have gone to $4 or $5. Wow. Okay, but once the market opened and we saw a clear fail on this resistance, it was okay, the trade to work on the short side. It was difficult to pyramid to add into the winning trade because it went right away and it was already too low to add more into the trade. That's why I was getting out all on the way down to the VWAP and a little bit lower below the VWAP. So that was probably the easiest one. The second one was, I know you were long here and we were shorting, as you can see, against this previous resistance there. Short a little bit here, added here against this resistance, and all the way down to the EMA, to the exponential moving average.
It's pretty aggressive. That looks really good. That's an aggressive ad. Can we put that on back, Assassino? Yeah, I do like that as well, because where you got in initially at 56 and then 58, you knew that high there at 64 was the day high, right? So that would be your stop out. Is that why you added at 60 and 62? Because you knew if it breaks 64, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, this was a starter, you know, you don't go full size here because your risk is like 10 cents out. So you cannot go with a full size. Usually we scale in and scale out. So it's not that we go all in one entry and then we get out in one exit. We like one zone, one range of price where we like the short, and one range of price where we would like to go out. So it's not that we go all in one entry and then out. We scale a starter here. We add in more. It was not full size here. It was like 70% or 60% of the full size. And then when the stock start to work out, 30% around the VWAP, and then a little bit more lower here. But usually we don't trade like in one single price, but an area that we like the short or the long.
I want to ask you about MSS, because this one I was interested in looking for locates on because it was quite aggressive. Very similar to the one that you traded there, but this was about $3, right? It got into that triple top, Luis. This is MSS. Sorry, let me just throw in the ticker so everybody can follow along. And what I did like about this is that key area of resistance kept showing up. So if you were able to wait for your levels, like if you gave it to 375, you only had to risk about a couple of pennies. This is something that you looked at today, or did you have this on watch?
I missed this one, but I know some people here in the office who traded. I don't know how much were the locates. I'm checking how much they cost the locate because I see some people on my risk management. I see some people who trade this stock and they made okay money. Yeah, 3 traders here short this one against the resistance, and it was very cheap. You see, I missed this one totally. So probably okay. I was messing up with another ticker, suffering in another ticker because it was easy. Look, when it halt and right away it open and it halt again, usually I don't like it, okay? Because, you know, it's a lot of risk. But said that, we have a lot of halts here, continuous halt. I avoid totally, but once it start to trade with more volume, with lower volatility, it's okay. You feel a little bit safe. So it was a nice short, probably there against the resistance, and adding here when the VWAP broke. Look, an amazing movement down there. Here, the difficult part, at least for me, is once you are in the good trade, just do the zone way, right? Hold, and scale in like 5%, 5%, 5%. That's very difficult, but that's how you scale and how you pyramid your P&L.
Fantastic stuff as always. All right, Luis, we're going to keep it extremely simple. 2 o'clock Eastern here. We're going to have the Fed funds rate decision. How do you guys prepare for this? Talk to me a little bit about it.
If you trade a small cap, usually you don't really care. I mean, the stocks, and not only because it doesn't affect them so much, because we are talking about the stocks with huge news, low float, you know, so actually it doesn't affect them at all, but also because of the time, you know, the Fed is at 2, so most of the small cap have already made the movement at that time of the day. So really, if you don't trade blue chips or index, you really don't care about the Fed or any other economical highlights. And look, since we have Trump in the government, it's even better to be out of this kind of risk. You know, you don't want to be one tweet away from blowing up your account because, you know, so another reason to trade a small cap, you avoid this highlight risks of tweets and economical movements and fundamentals and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I, we've had the conversation before how the IWM, some of these small cap gappers are kind of decoupled, right? So it's not that necessary that you have to worry about the index itself, the IWM, because these things move on their own and they have their own catalysts and their own momentum style trades.
Yeah, because when you look the scanner and you see the volume and the flow, look, for example, NCRA today gapping up 140%, float 500,000 and trading almost 50 million shares pre-market. Okay, so that's like 100 times the whole company. Do you think this company care about Fed decision rates or something like that? It's trading 100 times the whole float today. So it doesn't matter. The same with this one. Look, it's less than 1 million float, trading 4 million pre-market. We're talking about stocks with is running crazy, DFNS, right? So, and I took a long here as well today. I'm not very useful taking longs, but on this one I was long on these consolidations here, okay, around 38, 37 with a very tight stop. So look, if the stock is moving so much, they don't care about Fed decisions or fundamentals. And all of them, they have huge volume for the flow because we don't look only the total volume traded, but related to the float. Because, yeah, maybe Google or Meta or Bank of America or Ford, they trade more absolute volume. But according to the float, it's nothing like Google, how much they trade, like 20 million or 30 million. But it has a float of, I don't know how many billions. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we have, before we get into my next question, that is actually going to sway a little bit from small caps, because I've seen you trade some larger caps, and I want to get your opinion in this. I want you to opine on it as well, too. But we have a super chat from Zion Lala. Luis trading like champion.
I know Zion.
You know Zion. He wants
We're going to help him mentoring, actually, you know, within this course, and probably he out of the course because he's an experienced trader. We're going to try to put all his trade lists, all his data in our intranet and analyze every statistics of his trading setups, everything, win ratios, risk rewards, risk management, everything. We're gonna work with that with Sajan. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, perfect. So simple question: thoughts on DFNS?
I think that the trade, look, short side on this one is kind of difficult because the locates were very, very expensive today. Yesterday was okay, it was $20 per 100 shares, which is 20 cents. And considering how much it moves, it was okay to locate some. And actually, I think yesterday I located some and I made a nice profit in this fail of highs here and $35, adding more here on the break of 30. But today it was like $90 per 100 shares. That means you have to make $1 whole dollar movement just to scratch the trade. Yeah, look, it can go to $20 and you can make a lot of money, but right you in the trade, you are $1 away from your entry price. So that's not very nice. Look, there is something here that we are missing. This is not anymore a small cap that is popping up one day. This is like 4 days running. So maybe we're losing something here, fundamental talking, you know, about the company, agreements, merge, or whatever. Something is going on here behind the scenes because it's not normal that it's holding for so many days and so strong. So far, I will not short because, you know, if it breaks again, it's holding pretty nice VWAP and supports here over $30. So we might see another leg to 50. And since it's going higher and higher, the liquidity gets lower. Okay, gets very, very thin. If we break $40 and $50, there won't be liquidity. It can go to $100 right away.
Fantastic stuff. All right, before we send it back to Sharif, as I was mentioning from before, I've seen you trade some larger cap names. My question to you is, have you been paying attention to some of these memory names?
Yeah, and I can tell you honestly and humble, I wish I would have traded them because, you know, I really suck on that. I was trying to find the bounce yesterday on SNDK, daily loss, trying to find the bounce, and today on Micron as well, maximum loss on Micron, trying to find the bounce. Look, it's not that I'm buying, I'm holding. Look, I'm buying, I'm cutting my losses, I'm buying again, cutting my losses, trying here some support, cut the losses, trying here, cut the losses. It just keep going down. So, you know, this, I'm talking to other traders. I'm very bad looking for these, let's say, great setups. You know, you're looking for a bounce. You're not looking for make a couple of dollars or $5 or $10. You're looking for $50 or $100 movement in SNDK, for example, or even more. So how many times you are wrong before you are in the right setup. And if you are like 3 times wrong because you cut your losses, it doesn't work, that means the 4th time you try that trade, you have to go bigger to make everything back. And what if you're wrong, you know? So it's very, very difficult. That's why I think I should avoid this blue chip and trade only a small cap, where we have, I think, an edge. Much bigger edge than in blue chips.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get your opinion, see if you were looking at some of them. So yeah, you're trading some SanDisk. I mean, SanDisk 55% off of the highs. Sharif knows I have this weird obsession with what's going on in the South Korean markets and with some of these memory names, because just the over leverage, it's crazy in my opinion. And people get really, really burned on this stuff, especially trying to pick these bottoms while individuals are just getting liquidated. So yeah, some of these memory names to the long side as of late have definitely been the more difficult trade for sure.
Very, very difficult. I try SNDK, I try Micron, and I trade DRAM as an index, but none of them just work. And as I say, even if you are right, you know, it's very difficult then to hold for a whole day, or maybe even swing it, not here in real trading, but in another account, to make a decent profit, to get a nice risk reward comparing to the winning ratio. It's an equation that I don't really find the solution so far in my trading, and that's why we focus on small cap trading, where we have an edge, because we have a lot of things into account, not only technical analysis, not only the chart, but tape reading, flow, news, statistics of probability of closing red and everything.
Perfect, fantastic stuff. All right, Sharif.
Yes,
talk
sir.
To us, brother.
We got to remind everybody that Luis and AJ Trading have that course. So here it is on the screen. Make sure to check that out, adaytrading.com. There's the phone number. There's his X account. There's the email. Give Luis a shout. If you're interested in small cap trading, have at it. One of the best in the business to do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Luis. As always, coming on.
Thank you very much, guys. I have to say, the group will be very, very small, probably up to 8 people only. There is already 4 seats booked, so get ready. We're already
half full.
Love it, man.
There
Love
it
it.
goes.
Love it.
There it goes.
And I'm you guys will get value out of this, especially because Luis takes the opposite way of the way we look. All right, Casey, GWAV is open. It's ripping up 68%. Be on the lookout. This one has done very little volume for support. Perfect timing, Luis. What do you think about this one? GWAV. I know this is a little, it's a zigger and zagger. It looks like it's going to hold down already at 361.
Oh, man.
It looks like limit down possibly here at 361. So I know you always say to stay away from this.
You like to walk in the edge, huh?
Yeah.
If you're walking on the edge, you ain't living, baby.
It could be an easy trade, but first of all, we try to avoid tickers that they are not gapping up pre-market. Okay, because if they gap up pre-market, you have some safety net, safety levels. Sorry, I'm gonna put it here. I got it in another screen, but this is running now. It didn't have. Oh, hold on. No, it didn't have pre-market, so we don't have levels pre-market.
Exactly.
It's not gapping up. So the new is right now when the market is open. So it is more risky to trade. We had one of these yesterday, I think was STKH. And I always try to tell my traders, if it doesn't gap up and it's like in the middle of the day running, it is more difficult where to short. Well, we have a gap up from a few days ago here on STKH, so you could short against this resistance. But look, because it didn't have pre-market, active pre-market, it just went up from $1.30 to $3, halt. And that's a huge risk. Same, very similar than GWAV, very, very similar. So yes, we try to avoid this because you can get stuck in a halt like every minute. And that's very, very risky. Right now, it seems more or less safe, but imagine it up in $6 and you got a T12 and you are stuck in the position for days.
Luis,
so
we have to ask you a question because we got a super chat here for you from Venue42. $5 super chat. He says, INHD has been on hold, halted, of course, at T12, as you were talking about, for 3 weeks. What do you think will happen, Luis? Thank you. And a lot of people have been asking this question,
We got to bet on this one. We got to bet on this one.
I know we do. Exactly. Right? Look, but just for our purposes now, and this person who's probably worried about their money, what do you think?
Two parts here. If you are long, you should be worried because it is very likely that it opened like probably around zero. And I didn't want to say zero when we did that betting, and then Sean came back after and he said zero. So if you're long, you should be worried, I think, because this is a serious investigation. It's closed for weeks already. So be very, very careful. And you know what? If you're short, probably all the money you will make has already blown out with overnight fees. I've seen some people paying like 500% overnight fees. So look, maybe you're short 100 shares and you are paying $50 every single night to be in the trade. So after a month, you're down, I don't know, $1 grand, $2 grand, whatever, only because of the overnight fees. And I don't know why they charge this. Honestly, they should review this policy, because if it's closed and it's not going to open, why you should pay overnight fees when it's not going to open the next day? So
exactly.
you're paying every day, but you cannot get out of the position next day. So why should I pay this overnight?
And that's a very important point we have to tell everybody. So if you did pay for locates, you guys are going to continue to pay. And that's the thing. That's what we always say to Luis. You know, these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. Be careful. You know, use the technical levels as your reason to get in and your reason to get out. Don't fall in love with it. Even if you're going to swing. I mean, you know what, Luis? I've been noticing a lot of our viewers are actually swing trading these long small cap gappers overnight. I've never personally done that, but I was really surprised by the amount of viewers that actually do that.
I want to sleep calm, you know, and peaceful. So I try to never have overnight positions. Short, of course, absolutely forbidden to go short overnight because it can haul up and you can lose infinite. Long, you can lose 100%. But short, you can owe your broker a lot of money. So never short overnight, guys. It is a very dangerous sport.
Very wise. All right, guys. Luis Barbado from the Barcelona office of real trading.
Luis, I'm giving you forewarning now, brother. Don't send Sharif back home empty-handed, all right? I need something from Spain, okay? From the office, all right?
This guy's already securing the bag, man. All right,
brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Luis. We'll see you next
time. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Great look and great guy as always, man. Love having conversations with Luis here. Always a class act. But we're overtime. We're half an hour overtime. So let's send it up to the big desk with Sia, and we'll get the news segment going.
Overtime, and we're short of time because we do have the Fed decision today, which we'll be covering shortly. So let's quickly take a look into a couple news stories that we'll cover, starting with Visa now. EPS of $3.32 per share versus $3.22 per share that was expected. Revenue has come in at $11.6 billion versus $11.38 billion that was expected. Now, continued momentum has also been seen in both commercial as well as consumer spending for this particular company. And the reason for the stock trading lower pre-market was, however, that although the earnings report looks not bad here, one thing to note is that it did also slash 7% of its global workforce. So that is also a factor you need to keep in mind. Healthy transaction growth has also been seen across this quarter for the company. And payments volume has increased 10%, whereas the cross-border volume for intra-Europe has exceeded 13%. Now, processed transaction has grown 10% year over year to an amount of $71.7 billion. And revenues across sectors as follows: data processing up 17%, service revenue up 14%, international transactions up 6%, and other miscellaneous revenues up 45%. So operating costs have also increased in this quarter by 19%. Mostly all of these are personnel-related costs, and $563 million in severance expenses, as well as $237 million in litigation provision. Finally, we have $6.2 billion, which is the capital that has been returned to investors. That is a combination of dividends as well as share repurchases.
There's a couple of interesting things here, because if I look at it, I feel like the narrative would be a little bit different, but that's not the case here. So the company's reporting and stating consumer spending is healthy, all right, and robust, favorable by macro environment, according to the analysts themselves. So what I would think would be the total opposite, just due to the fact that we have an increase in energy costs. Well, do people need to use their Visa card and go on to credit a little bit more? just considering the fact that prices are raised? Yeah, absolutely. That's where I stand on this. But we're also raising our guidance as well, too. Visa is an outstanding company, but they're raising their full-year revenue outlook while maintaining its adjusted EPS as well. So there's a couple of favorable things going for this name in order why we're going to see this pop. Guidance is extremely important, but I'm surprised by the robust spending of the consumer, because it's usually the lower end of the consumer where we see things cool down, and the higher end is where it maintains flat or starts to pick up, which we would see in American Express, but that's not necessarily the case here for Visa.
So it looks like some of the best parts of the report were one-off, and they had a lot to do with the World Cup. So it looks like they got a lot of value-added services, VAS, $3.8 billion, but that was heavily boosted by a non-recurring item, of course, in the World Cup. They made money more on marketing services, fraud prevention, consulting fees, all to do with the 2026 World Cup. Also, listen to this. Their GAAP operating expenses continue to rocket up this year, about 19%, $563 million restructuring and severance charge, which they're saying is tied to global organizational efficiency initiatives and tech layoffs. The layoffs make sense because you have to have severance for those people, but why okay? In any event, client incentives, so I'm assuming that has to do with like rewards and stuff like that. They were at a general area high, up 18% year over year. They paid about $4.7 billion in credit card rewards, and that outpaced their revenue growth. So you had the credit card rewards 18% jump year over year, and then actual revenue jumped 14% year over year. So there has to be some, parity between those. And yeah, that's basically it. Late quarter U.S. volume modernization. Apparently U.S. payment volume grew 10% for the full quarter, and that growth peaked at about 9.5% in June. Again, that makes sense with the World Cup. So not a company I really keep my eye on all that much, but hey, where is it trading?
At all-time highs.
So look, well, it's up. It's up 1%. It's a little bit off the high, coming back into VWAP. But hey, that caught a bid immediately at the bell because this one was negative to start the day. It closed out about 366 and change. In the pre-market, it was down into 357. So yeah, good recovery for them. But, not really a name I keep all that my eye on. It's closing in on $700 billion market cap, 696. There's a lot of companies now that are just knocking on the door of that trillion valuations. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's also take a look. PG here, Procter Gamble earnings as well. So I would say this company has reported a rather mixed earnings report more than anything. EPS has come in at $1.43 versus the expected number of $1.42. Revenue at $21.2 billion, whereas $21.38 billion was the projected number. Net income at $3.04 billion versus $3.62 billion from a year ago. Excluding restructuring costs, transaction gains, and other items, the company has earned per share, I would say, of $1.43. Net sales have also risen 2% to $21.2 billion. CFO of the company, Andre Schulten, has said that the earnings call for the fourth quarter, the company has seen improving global share trends versus prior period, but headline results have been impacted by trade dynamics in the U.S. and also the spike in input costs. For the year of fiscal 2027, the company has expected a core EPS of $6.89 to $7.11. Also, all-in sales growth projection currently standing at 1% to 3% in that range. Wall Street has also been anticipating earnings per share of $7.04 and revenue growth of 2.7% for fiscal 2027. PG currently stock is down on the day 2.5%.
Essentially flat organic growth year over year. When you look at net sales, yeah, they did grow by 2%. That's great, but that's because there was a 1% Forex tailwind, so that's inorganic. And when you look at organic sales in and of itself, not net sales, organic sales flat, 0%, with both volume, pricing, and product mix all contributing to that 0% net impact. So it kind of signals to me that the organic consumer demand as well as their pricing power is kind of hit a near-term ceiling, something that they need to digest. But you also have really, not a great EPS number, whether you're looking at GAAP EPS or non-GAAP EPS. GAAP EPS dropped 15%. Non-GAAP EPS on a constant or GAAP diluted EPS dropped 15% as well. And then you have a big divergence here between how they're doing with their beauty products, which grew 6%. Then you look at the baby and healthcare, that all dropped 2%. So, it's not an even mix when you're looking at the product category. A bit of a tough look.
Yeah, it is tough, but a full recovery, and I think a lot of this sell-off was just due to the guidance, right? So 85 billion consensus, it's below estimates, all right? So we'll keep an eye out on that. And to add to Shrev's point, right? So you get into the segment, delivery, beauty delivery, 4% year over year, grooming segment, flat on the year. So we're talking about flat. Healthcare, organic sales declined 1%. Fabric and home care, flat again. So there's not much organic growth going on in this. And Shreve brought up the baby and feminine family care products decreasing 2% as well too. But the issue being is the guidance. If you lower guidance, then you're going to run into a little bit of trouble. Hence why we had that gap down this morning. Even though the underlying asset did find its way to recovery, you're still down a little bit here on the day.
We're going to take a look at now two names that are reporting post-market as of today, Microsoft and Meta. So Microsoft EPS projected at $4.24, adjusted revenue projected at $87.62 billion. Analysts have been looking for 14.6% growth year over year in the quarter, which ended June 30th. And they are seeing growth speeding up a bit to 15.4% in the September quarter. As of yesterday's close, Microsoft shares had given up about 19% so far in this year, while the S&P 500 index, as a comparison, has gained 8.5%. Investors will also be looking in now to see if Microsoft raises its forecast on its CapEx and finance leases for data centers expansion, also after the fact that Alphabet has lifted its 2026 range by $15 billion as of last week. Secondly, let's take a look at Meta over here. Meta currently down on the day, well, almost flat on the day, but it's also reporting after the close today. Let's take a look at numbers. EPS that is projected to come in at $7.22, adjusted revenue at $60.17 billion. You have Meta that is projecting to show revenue growth of 26% from $47.52 billion in the same period a year ago, because now you have the company's core advertising business, which has continued to benefit from advancements in AI. The company is trying to show that it can compete directly in the market for AI models, where OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, like we all know, have big leads. So on the earnings call, investors are, according to CNBC, going to be closely listening to what Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has to say about the company's efforts to more directly overall monetize its various AI-related efforts.
One of the ways I think he can monetize it best is to sell compute to those who need it. Because right now, I'm not going to diss new MS 1.1 by all accounts, most accounts. It's pretty good, but he still doesn't have the demand for it, whether it's good or not. So rent out that compute, at least, on a 6-month, 12-month, short-term interim basis. Generate that money so that you're not continually punished by the market for spending too much. I'm talking, of course, about Anthropic. I'm talking about, of course, about providing a cloud service, something Meta hasn't done, but that's something that's also leaked multiple times from reports and from Zuck himself. So to me, it's going to be exactly, the typical stuff we look for Meta. How did ad sales do? But, the other two is what's CapEx, and are you going to monetize the compute that you spent an arm and a leg on? With Microsoft, to me, it's really about Azure, as well as, stopping the bloodshed in the SaaS and software space. They need to say or do something or show investors that we've bottomed here and that, growth is just, around the corner and we're not going to be completely disrupted by AI. I'd like to see more information about the ever-evolving relationship, let's put it that way, between OpenAI and Microsoft, as we've seen that kind of relationship deteriorate over the months and, over the last few months, I want to say the last 6 to 8 months. But, those are going to be the things that I focus on the most.
We'll get to those super chats momentarily. I'm in the same camp. There's 3 metrics in regards to Microsoft earnings. CapEx, capital expenditure, how much more are they going to be spending? At what clip rate is Azure growing at? And at what rate is Copilot? I know, I understand. Are we gaining monthly active users? Those are going to be 3 key metrics that I'm going to be looking for here within Microsoft itself. if those come in under lower than expected, then I really don't know what to say. It's unfortunate that the stock has not been performing well. Now, in regards to META, you guys know where I stand. It was only a matter of time. It was the most logical thing. I don't know why it took this company so long to come to the point as like, hey, we need to start selling this excess compute. Finally, they did that. They struck a deal. Are they going to be getting more? How much more is Zuck going to be spending? Because he's most likely going to increase his capex. And I want to see how some of his tools are performing, right? Like, is MuseSpark gaining any monthly active users? I'm sure it has some, but is it gaining ground? Is it grabbing any market share? And what he has planned for super intelligence lab here? What is the outlook of this specifically? And how much of a loss is Reality Labs at? Okay, so those are some big factors, and I talked about the overhang and the weight on the shoulders of this company specifically in regards to antitrust. I think that's a bigger issue, but aside from that, once that is lifted, compute is going to be key. He's going to be selling it to the larger participants. He's going to continue his build out, and also how much ground are his tools gaining, which I don't think is going to be very much.
Let's move on to Bloom Energy. I know Adara wants to speak about this as well. So Bloom Energy, as you do know, it has posted a record quarterly revenue of $1.07 billion. That is topping analyst expectations of about $827 million. Adjusted earnings coming in at 78 cents, my apologies, per share, diluted share, ahead of the consensus estimates of 41 cents. Now, revenue climbing 165.5, that's 0.5% year over year, driven by a 215.4% increase in product revenue to $935.4 million. BE has also made a comeback, I would say, to profitability over here, reporting a net income of $196.3 million, Adara, or 62 cents per diluted shares. Operating income improving to $182.2 million. Operating cash flow, however, increased also to $226.4 million. What's your thought?
Yeah, it's a nice look. It's very clear. And I think Sharif says something to this extent this morning as well, that we really have one segment, and that's product revenue here, dragging all of this to the upside. Product revenue growth, 215%. All of the other categories here growing well under 50% each, or in the case of electricity, actually declining. So it's always difficult when you have a couple clients or a couple, revenue segments dragging up all of your growth or responsible for all of your growth. In the case of Bloom, I believe that's both. So just be aware here for BE that is very much the case. But yeah, I think this is a solid report. I think also, your year-over-year growth in all of these segments is better this quarter than it was last quarter. So that's also a good look. And that includes even the decline in electricity. I believe the decline was greater in Q1 than it was here in Q2. Also, just seeing XAI introducing Grok 4.5. We already knew it was coming, but just a quick update there.
I promise you, brother, AGB 6773, you don't need to super chat anymore. We're very thankful, brother, that you're super chatting. We love you for it, of course. But we promise we will get to that. So let's talk a little bit about Bloom Energy here. I'm worried, right? We're gonna ready for the rollover. Okay, so
do you want to do the super chats?
Yeah, let's do the super chats before we roll over here. How can I feel good about making money on market fluctuations during war? Asking for my family members in service. Do you want to take the options route on this? Perhaps, maybe.
How do you feel good about making money? I don't know. I don't know, man. You just don't feel any way, I guess. Like some of the questions, I read through some of his super chats, brother. I don't know. You have maybe become a politician. That's the way you can only really influence what's going on. Other than that, there's nothing you can honestly do, man, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. I would say, look, you don't have to be emotionally attached to the investment. The investment is what it is, right? Are you talking about maybe investing in military names or oil?
He's doing the opposite.
Things that are specific to the war? Because
he's talking opposite, because his first was like, what stock can I invest in to prevent death and destruction? Asking for a friend, I don't know, man.
Well, I don't know how much money you have, brother, but I don't think you're going to prevent death and destruction. I think that's going to be independent of any market moves. But look, man, go to the good stuff, right? Find out exactly what the market leaders are in every specific, the sectors that you're interested in. Find out what the market leaders are. Do some charting. Find the good technical levels to say, you know, it's bounced off this area multiple times, or if it's cleared it used to reject this area multiple times. Set up orders there. Remove the subjectivity out of it. Remove the emotional component out of it so that you're able to make these investment decisions even when the market is red, even when it's bleeding and it looks like, you know, it's the end of the world. Take the subjectivity out of it. That's what I have done. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Throw in the orders, set it, and forget it. Joe, anything before we roll?
No, that's it, man. Let's roll it on over. Have a good one, guys.
You know, what's up?